finest city. Got a lot of high school football kicking off tonight in the playoffs, second round of the playoffs for a lot of divisions. It is the semifinals for the Open Division. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. Big college football Saturday coming up tomorrow as well, and a big Aztecs football game tomorrow. I mean, you hope that San Diego State can get a crowd, but you know what? I mean, the weather, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's already hard to get people at Aztec games. And so I will applaud, I already applaud anybody that goes to the Aztec game tomorrow to help the boys out. It's a huge game against Boise State. There's still, according to ESPN Football Power Index, a 0.5% chance at potentially making the college football playoff. It's an outside chance. So you're saying there's a chance? Not really. But there's a lot better of a chance that they could potentially host a a Mountain West Championship game against either Boise State or maybe another one of the Hawaii. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are sitting there at 2 losses that are going to be part of the equation for the Mountain West Championship game. If you lose on Saturday, that really puts you behind the 8 ball, not only in hosting the Mountain West Championship game, but also playing in the Mountain West Championship game. And so that's a huge game tomorrow for San Diego State against Boise State. We're going to get a preview with Shaun Goodwin at about 12:35 p.m. Pacific time today. Eddie Brown will join us at 1 o'clock. We'll have Drake Hills on at 1:35 to discuss San Diego FC in the postseason. A full back-loaded show when it comes to guests today. We're going to talk about what's been going on in the general manager meetings out in Vegas, some of the latest news that we will discuss. We'll continue to talk about the big news that we got yesterday from the San Diego Padres. We'll get to an NFL whip around. We got to make our college football picks later on in the show as well. So we got a lot to talk about. But I want to talk about the awards that came out yesterday for Major League Baseball. I hate to say that I called it, but I called it. I called it in May. Everybody was talking about how great Cal Raleigh's season was going to be, how great of a season it is. He was the 7th player ever with 60 homers in a season. And those 60 homers were the most ever by a catcher, a switch hitter, and a Mariners player. Raleigh also drove in an American League best 125 runs and was lauded for his work with the pitching staff on a Seattle team that won its division and wound up advancing to the ALCS after, of course, voting had concluded. And that's the first time that they have been able to do that since 2001. But yet, it wasn't Cal Raleigh that won the American League MVP. It was Aaron Judge. I mean, come on. If this wasn't a year for somebody besides Judge to win an MVP, he's never not going to win it. He's never not going to win it. Yes, he had a good season again. Already in possession of the highest single-season AL home run total, 62 in 2022. By the way, I mean, Cal Raleigh was like 2 away from tying Aaron Judge's single-season record. That's how great of a year Cal Raleigh had, and it still wasn't good enough for the people that vote on this thing to not vote for the New York Yankee. Judge's exact total of 53 homers was the highest ever by a batting champ when he won the batting title this year. 33-year-old Judge also led the majors in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and sort of a, quote, modern triple crown. That's how they decided it. A modern triple crown. In the most closely calculated of pro sports, Judge had numbers that didn't need nuance. In this way, he had an easier to articulate MVP case than Raleigh, according to MLB.com. Given that catching value can still be difficult to accurately nail down, Judge's OPS was nearly 200 points higher than that of Cal Raleigh, and that obviously held sway over the voters. Judge played through an elbow issue that cost him some time, only added to how impressive his overall numbers were. Come on, give me a break. Give me a break. That guy's never not going to win an MVP. That guy's never going to not win an MVP. This is why, somebody already jumped again. This is why awards to me are stupid. I don't get them. Who is more change the name. Most hyped player needs to be the award here. I don't understand the thinking. I think there's some bias to it, obviously, with a lot of the voters. And I'm sure there's some West Coast bias voters out there that are trying to, get a vote for Cal Raleigh. I didn't see how everybody voted on this thing.
They just showed it on MLB Network. It was 17-13.
17-13.
For both ways. So the 17 that voted Arson Fudge as your MVP this year voted Cal Raleigh second, and vice versa.
Yeah. I just don't get I don't get the awards. It's dumb. You got a guy that's catching and switch hitting, and he's putting up the numbers that he puts up. That, to me, is the most insane thing about this entire deal. How many times have we have seen, catchers do interviews and switch hitters do interviews about how difficult it is to hit at a high level for both of them? Let's talk about Jurickson Profar for a second.
Bro, it doesn't matter.
I mean, all the work you have to put in as a lefty, you got to put in as a righty. That's extra work that these guys have to do that are switch hitters. And then you listen to catchers. There's a reason why catchers can't hit very well in Major League Baseball. I mean, they could do okay, but they're never one of the best hitters on the team. Why? Because they got to go catch a pitching staff. They got to go catch bullpens all the time. So now you got a guy that switch hits and is a catcher. And it's still not enough for Major League Baseball voters.
Have you considered butt Yankee? Have you considered that?
I want to know this. How about this? If they switched teams, does Cal Raleigh win the MVP?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. They switch it, immediately.
Cal Raleigh had the most home runs in a single season for a catcher, not just in the American League, but in baseball. He had the most home runs in a single season by a switch hitter in baseball history. And Arson Fudge, who just put up his fourth or fifth best season of his career, wins this MVP over a guy who is going to have a season that is talked about for years. Baseball Writers of Association of America, all of you should be fired.
Stop.
Every single one of you. You dead wrong on this.
Oh, man, here it is. No,
dead wrong.
Fired. But at the same time,
all because of he's a Yankee. Congratulations, Arson Fudge, on another MVP award.
I look at the MVP, right? And I look at apparently somebody in the chat says the majority of the votes for Aaron Judge were from East Coast writers. I mean, is there a place that posts the ballot?
I don't think there's anyone who's posted their particular ballot. I think I've seen our favorite Ken Rosenthal post his, but he didn't have to.
Because again, all of these writers get selected to vote on certain things, right? And we have a lot of local writers in town. Some of them might have been able to vote for MVP. Some of them vote for Cy Young. Some of them vote for whatever. It's all over the place. And you know what? That's how they determine the deal. Raleigh had more home runs than Judge, 60-53, had more RBIs than Judge, 125-114. Judge scored more runs. Judge had a higher on-base percentage. WRC Plus rewards Judge, 205-161. And according to Fangraphs War, Aaron Judge got one extra point on the Fangraphs War.
Rosenthal posted his NL Cy Young ballot.
So he got to vote on the Cy Young. They put different deals.
I'll give it. He put Nick Pivetta fifth.
That's nice.
He gave Paul Skeens, Christopher Sanchez, Yamamoto, Peralta, and Nick Pivetta were his five.
At least at this point, At least at this point, there's not one crazy writer that put Cal Raleigh less than second. At least that's the case.
The ones who didn't vote him first voted him second.
Correct. I do like looking at some of the, votes that get put in there because you vote for 10 players. That's how it works. So you put 10 players in order of MVP. Shohei Ohtani was unanimous decision in the National League.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. It's on the BBWAA website.
Kyle Schwarber got 23 second place votes. And then you go down the list. Padres got a couple of votes. Fernando got 2 fourth place votes, a fifth place, one fifth place vote, 3 sixth place votes, 5 seventh, 4 eighth, 5 ninth, and 1 10th. I mean, he finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He finished 8th in the MVP voting this year, and a lot of people were super disappointed in Fernando's season.
Remember how we were anticipating earlier in the season Manny Machado possibly being on the MVP list?
Yeah, he got 2 votes. He got 4 votes actually. He got a.
I'm not seeing him.
Oh, he got a 6th place vote, a 7th place vote.
That would be a reason why
and 2 10th place votes. So you had a couple of Padres on there. I don't get it. I knew it was going to happen. It was going to be Aaron Judge. To me, I view MVP awards as like most valuable player.
Oh, really?
Because that's what it's named, but it hasn't been the case in years.
The most valuable player.
If you take Aaron Judge off the Yankees, does anything really change? Maybe it does. I don't know. I feel like the Yankees would be okay with the team that they have. I mean,
Steph in the chat, Cal Raleigh played more games this year. He played, I think, 6 more.
He played more games. And the guy has to take days off because he's a catcher. I don't know how many times he DH'd, but to me, it should have been Cal Raleigh. I mean, I guess you could argue and cuss and discuss, and that's exactly what, Major League Baseball, that's what Major League Baseball wants. Help with the conversation.
So you're going to, so in order to get people to talk about you are going to dish out the wrong awards intentionally.
You got people arguing about it.
That sounds like a good business strategy.
You argued about it. My favorite thing about baseball is
there's no argument, though. There's no argument.
There's a slight argument with Cal. He had some numbers that were better than Cal Raleigh's. It's not a crazy deal. Whose
season are you going to remember 10 years from now? Are you going to remember Arson Fudge, his 2025 season, or are you going to remember the switch hitting catcher who set every power record in baseball?
I mean, I'm going to remember the Seattle Mariners guy and Cal Raleigh, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean people are going to vote for him. Here's the other thing too. How many of those people even watched him play? The guy's played in Seattle. The games, I mean, he's starting his games when most of these guys have to go to bed because they're too old.
So he gets a penalty because he plays.
I'm just saying. That's just what this is why awards are dumb. This is why awards are dumb.
If you are awarding penalties because you can't see him play because you live on the East Coast and the player happens to play on the West Coast, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have a vote.
We talk about the same thing in the AP votes.
Pay attention to the games.
25.
Watch the games. Watch the highlights. And you can't say you didn't know Cal Raleigh existed because he was on MLB Network every single morning hitting 3 more home runs.
I couldn't even tell you what Arson hit this year. It was not memorable. No. He just was just there on the Yankees. I just feel like Major League Baseball has this obsession with Aaron Judge. Now, on the National League side.
You feel like it, huh?
Yeah. On the National League side, I mean, it's hard not to vote for the guy that can pitch and hit. I mean, the guy does it all. You might not like the guy. You might not like the team he plays for, but it's hard to beat a guy that is also a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. I don't really have any qualms with Shohei Ohtani winning the MVP.
Cal Raleigh this year is position breakdown. He caught 121 games and DH'd 38.
That's a lot of games for a guy that's a catcher.
Yeah. He played in 159 of the 162 games, starting in all but 2 of those 159.
The thing is, they go back to back. I'm tired of hearing about how great Aaron Judge is all the time when the Yankees can't make it through the playoffs more times than not. But anyway, I just thought it was a great opportunity to give it to somebody else. Like a guy like Cal Raleigh who hit 60 home runs. It's 60 home runs. I mean, how many times over the years have you been like, they justify the MVP based on here? And this is what I was going to say before about baseball. And this is just baseball in general. The thing with baseball is there's so many stats that you can use certain stats and weigh it as this is the most important stat. How many times have we heard about OPS plus be the most important stat, or WRC plus is the most important stat, or it's really OPS, or it's really home runs, or it's really RBIs, and every single one of those you could poke a hole in, and every single one of those you could say is the most important stat. That's the thing that's crazy about baseball. You could just have all of people like to pick and choose which stat is more important. Cal Raleigh beat Aaron Judge in a lot of different categories. Aaron Judge beat Cal Raleigh in a lot of different categories. I mean, we already saw somebody in the chat go like, well, what did he hit this year? What was his average? Now it's back to batting average is important. Before it was your power numbers were important. I find it's there's a lot of stats that can justify people's biases that vote.
Forget about stats for a second. If you take Cal Raleigh off the Seattle Mariners, do they get to the ALCS?
Probably not, but they can't do that. What if? And again,
if you take,
they can't they vote before the playoffs.
Okay. If you take Cal Raleigh off of the Seattle Mariners, do they win?
Do they win the division? Probably not.
If you take Arson Fudge off the Yankees, do the Yankees make the playoffs? Because that's what they did. They didn't win the division. They made the playoffs.
They probably still make the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
I just think Cal Raleigh has to do a lot more than Aaron Judge does.
Most valuable player.
Switch hitting catcher putting up those kind of numbers is crazy.
Thank you.
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I had to get that out of the way. I mean, Frank was texting me at nauseum last night about this. He had to get it off his chest. Do you feel better now?
No, because Raleigh still doesn't.
Because Raleigh still didn't win. Oh, well, hey. When we come back, what's been going on around baseball at the GM meetings? We have had all of our own news here in San Diego, but there's a lot going on in Major League Baseball at the GM meetings. Some of the rumors that we want to get to when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show off and running on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour of Sports Talk is brought to you by SD Collectibles. Get ready, sports and Pokemon collectors. SD Collectibles card show is back at Liberty Station with over 100 vendor tables. November 22nd and 23rd. Find sports cards, Pokemon memorabilia, and more. Visit SDcollectibles.com for info. That's SDcollectibles.com. I got to hear Chris Ello do that read. I really do. Do you think Chris Ello has any idea what a Pokemon is?
No.
Do you think he knows what a Pokemon card is? Do you think he could name me one Pokemon? And I'm not like a Pokemon fan.
There are two that I think anyone can get.
Okay.
Pikachu and Charizard. Those are the two that I think anyone can get.
How about this?
Then you get into a little bit more advanced ones like Squirtle or Charmander. Slightly more advanced.
Do kids still like Pokemon? Is that
God, yes.
Really? They like it more now? I mean, I feel like that was like a this is
still very much a thing.
I mean, think about what our target audience is in terms of our metrics, right? Men 25 to 54. Pokemon's been around so long now that they're doing ads for those men and people on Sports Talk. It's interesting to me. Adults are back into Pokemon, according to David Vu. Is it because of Pokemon Go? People still do that?
I think that kicked it back off. But I think it's more...
There's Pokemon vending machines?
Yes, there are. And there are psychopaths that will wait until those vending machines are full and then just buy the whole thing out.
People still do Pokemon Go? I mean, that was like in college, that was like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
At least, well, it came out when I was in college. I remember like downloading it one time, and I'm like, okay, I got to like walk around and do all this stuff all the time. There was like different spots on college campuses that were like bases or something like that, or gyms that you tried to win. It didn't make a lot of sense. It's probably cooler now than it was before.
Yeah, there's like, if you go into grocery stores, they usually have the vending machine next to the coin machine.
What is it? Is it just give you cards?
I believe there's cards. I believe there's figurines in there too. I'm not sure. I'd never really cared about Pokemon, but
this would be a fun game.
Do, which is why I know what's going on.
We should, since it's a YouTube show, we should show a picture of a Pokemon and see if Chris Ello can guess it. But only like the OG ones, not like the crazy new ones they have. How many do you think he names? 0.
Exactly.
Probably 0.
Less than 0, I think.
I know. Nerd.
Yeah,
Rod.
exactly.
Nerd! Vaughn Santia is a vending machine. Justin Hughes says, I can't take my kids there. They're going to...
Oh, exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you play a game. Who's that Pokemon? That's hilarious.
Can't play that meme. Love that meme. Can't play it, though.
Who's that Pokemon? All right. Let's talk about what's going on at the GM meetings. Winter meetings are not till December. Oh, that's what I was going to say. They had, speaking of old man talk with Chris Ello, I feel like it's a cheap shot every time, but I love Chris. I just love bringing it up. The cheap shot with Chris Ello here. They had USD basketball, volleyball, women's basketball, like all their arena sports I've been calling so far this season. They have 2 cameras now for the big screen. They have 6-7 cam, which they don't even play the 6-7 song, which I've never heard it, so I don't know. But it's the
you've never heard it, so they might have done.
It's not because they played the 6 foot, 7 foot,
oh god,
8 foot,
okay.
what that song, whatever, what that they took from an OG song back in the day. Anyway, they have 6-7 cam, and like you're supposed to do this, and I don't know what that simulates, but that's what the camera says to do. It says 6-7 cam, and then they had 2 hands doing like this.
I think it's more up and down than backwards, back and forth.
No, they were kind of doing both. They're doing this, and then they're doing that.
Whatever.
And now kids do it all the time. I actually had this conversation on the air after that. I went to the In-N-Out in Carlsbad. Did I tell the story on the air?
Not sure.
To the In-N-Out in Carlsbad after a football game on the way up to San Clemente. The place was wedged with children. because of like the local flag football league that Woods' son plays in and stuff. And then also like the 2 high school games up there with Carlsbad and La Costa Canyon. And so I know something's up because they continue to name off numbers. And I'm telling you, this place is packed like sardines, inside and out, just fluttered with kids, teenagers, middle schoolers, all that stuff. And they're starting to announce numbers, and they're all like giggling. And I'm like, uh-oh, this place is about to erupt on something. I'm thinking it's going to erupt on 69 because, I'm a millennial.
Yeah, because that's what we would have done.
And they go order 67, and they all scream it at the same time. And the place goes bonkers. I've seen this on social media. I had to experience that in real life. I'm like, what is happening? And my friend goes, oh, that's what the kids are doing right now. I'm like, what? The girls that she coaches in volleyball kept her hip on that. My football team did not on the 6-7
because they probably don't care.
They make fun of it is what
exactly.
they do. Okay, well, I'm glad it's better that way. So they have 6-7 cam. Ello has no idea what that is. Maybe he does now. Maybe Scraby's told him. The other one is they have the Riz cam.
Oh, for God.
They have Riz cam. I posted that on my Twitter account. The Riz cam. And there's like this old couple on there. Rod had a great comment on it with the Riz cam. Something about like, hey, honey, pass the nachos, baby. Or something like that. It was so funny. The Riz cam. Do you think Chris Ello can define what Riz is? You know what it is, the Riz?
I know what it is.
You got that Riz?
Yeah, I know what it is, but I don't see Chris knowing.
There's no way. It's just a gift that keeps on giving.
I mean, it's close enough. You can kind of guess. You can kind of figure it out what it is, but I wouldn't. I think he wouldn't get it because he wouldn't care enough to put any thought into it.
Riz cam. There's a picture on my Twitter account. I have the Riz cam. There's like this old couple that's on there at the time that I ended up taking the picture in the USD Idaho game. They're 2 Idaho Vandal fans. They were like so confused. They had like, I don't know what this is. What does this mean? Riz cam. What do you want them to do on a Riz cam? That's the other thing too. Hilarious. Also, I finally got to see the Ello. I know this is a segment about Ello now. The Ello rant on the umpiring at the Sportsplex. Did you watch that?
It? No, I did not.
That was hilarious.
I didn't know there was video.
There's like 3 minutes. No. It's a segment from their show. It's not him actually yelling at the umpire.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But he goes in there and he says the one thing that you never want to say to an official that drives him nuts. It's almost equivalent to like telling a cop that you pay a salary level of insult. He a play happens. I have the clip. It was they recorded it in the back studio. And Ello goes, he's like, he explains how one bad call turned into 7 runs for the other team. And, the team's not doing very well. And then he goes, he's like, so I asked the umpire when I came up to bat, what did you see there? Never ask a ref or an umpire, what did they see there? That's a quick way. And so I've heard 2 sides of the story. He might have used some foul language, and that's why he got yanked.
Ah, well, there you go.
But you know what? It's a pretty funny clip. I think they might have posted on their after dark episodes that they're putting out. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, everything you need to know about what has happened at the general manager meetings as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 through the Fan, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. A lot of you guys probably took I wonder how many people took the day off today. I thought the roads were going to be a mess this morning. They haven't really been, Frank. Well, I mean, it was a decent commute.
It hadn't rained yet.
Doesn't matter. There's no traffic of any kind.
Yeah, I know.
There's at least some type of people on the road. I know how many times I've seen you walk in here ready to explode.
Yeah, usually that's midweek.
I didn't see any. Jocelyn's firing up at Sage Creek right now, doing her thing. She's still at work, working hard. David Vu's at his desk. Nate came back from Cabo to this. That's a tough pill to swallow. Because usually when you come back from vacation to San Diego, you're back on vacation. A lot of the times going to San Diego is actually better than the vacation in terms of the weather. Anyway, let's talk about, speaking of the weather, it's usually nice in Las Vegas this time of year. Right now, the general manager meetings are finishing up in Las Vegas. Didn't really get to talk about this too much. A lot of potential trade talk coming out of there, contract situations, a lot of strategic shifts for several teams and high-profile players. Tarek Skubal, Freddie Peralta, Joe Ryan, Sandy Alcantara, Mackenzie Gore, headlining a lot of trade rumors. But apparently, might be fewer deals than expected due to timing, team goals, and contract factors, plus a looming lockout in the following year. What is the latest we got on the pitcher situation from the general manager meetings, Frank? Oh, there you go.
May as well have it.
Less than 100 days till opening day, right? Is that the deal?
I'm worried about the Daytona 500, but so individual pitcher situations.
NASCAR guy.
Yep. Well, duh. I mean, come on.
I'm definitely going to be locked into every NASCAR race now because we have one of them.
You should be. Unfortunately, the first batch of the season is going to be on Fox. Anyway, individual pitcher situations. So far, right now, Tarek Skubal with the Detroit Tigers. Tigers are adamant about keeping Skubal.
As they should.
Yes, seeing him as central to their contention window through 2026. He is a Boris client, making a contract extension unlikely before he hits free agency. Trading him now would weaken Detroit's short-term competitiveness, especially after 2 straight playoff appearances. A deadline move could be possible if Detroit unexpectedly falls out of contention. Do you see the Tigers trading Tarek Skubal at all at any point?
I do, because it's the Tigers.
Oh, there you go.
And I think it's a bigger problem with baseball. Like, the fact that they have to even think about this, like they're not going to get him in the offseason, the fact that we're even having this conversation shows that the sport needs to be fixed.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
This is like, what are we doing? Detroit's not a small town. Detroit's a large city in Michigan. It's a very large city. It's a big market. This is an organization that is thinking about trading the best pitcher in baseball because they can't afford to re-sign him? What are we even doing, baseball? What are we doing? Like, this is the conversations that we should be having. Like, we haven't even talked about Kyle Tucker yet in the Cubs. Cubs are going to offer him a contract. Mm-hmm. He is arguably the best bat on the market. He's young, he's controllable, and the Cubs, another major market, is sitting there going like, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. What are we doing? And here's the deal. It's not that they could pay him and they just won't. No, it's not. It's not the deal. It's about they can't pay him because they have to worry about paying for everybody else. This is what's dumb about the rules for baseball. Make the salary floor, make the salary cap, make this thing competitive. Let's try to get stars on all these teams. Let's make the league fun. And hopefully that's going to be the case after a lockout and negotiations. But this is where we're at right now. This needs to be fixed.
Exactly right. And New York, my God, I wish I was still in my pajamas. We go from
that
Michigan.
Does look like a pajama shirt. I'm not going to lie.
It does.
It's very much so look like a pajama shirt.
From Michigan to Wisconsin, right next to it, they got 2 players, the Brewers do, that are up, and big names as well. Freddie Peralta enters his walk year in 2026, similar to when Milwaukee traded Corbin Burns in 2024. However, Peralta's $8 million salary makes him more affordable and valuable both to the Brewers and to potential trade partners. Milwaukee may retain him until free agency and accept a compensatory draft pick afterwards, as they did with Willy Adames. On the other end, they have their other star pitcher, Brandon Woodruff. Milwaukee surprisingly gave Woodruff a $22 million qualifying offer despite his recent injury history. The move reflects faith in his health, and even if he rejects it, the Brewers will receive a compensatory pick. GM Matt Arnold emphasized Woodruff's big game reliability, signaling Milwaukee's intent to stay competitive. Which one of these two do you see leaving, if you see any of them at all?
For Woodruff and Peralta,
Yes.
I think I don't know. He's had an injury history. I think Woodruff probably doesn't accept a qualifying offer.
I don't think
Peralta thing, to me, if you're the Brewers, it's the same thing you would do. Like if you're the Padres, if you're competitive by the deadline, you hang on to them, and if you're not, you offer the qualifying offer at the end of the year. At least get something out of them. That's what competitive teams do. Now the Brewers have done a pretty good job of trading players away and still being competitive. So maybe they do use him as a trade piece later. But if he gets moved, it's a deadline thing. It's not going to be during the offseason, in my opinion.
To the Miami Marlins, Sandy Alcantara. Miami might trade either Alcantara or Edward Cabrera, but the front office feels confident after a 17 wins improvement last season. Alcantara's performance improved dramatically post All-Star break, having a 7.22 ERA before and a 3.33 ERA after. While open to offers, the Marlins recognize Alcantara's value and could keep him to chase playoff contention in 2026. Do you see the Marlins moving Alcantara even after his bounce back from Tommy John surgery and that bad start because of it?
How many more years does he have left?
I believe this is his last year.
I think they trade him unless they're. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're going to re-sign him.
They were highly expected to trade him during the deadline, and they did not. They held on to him, and it paid off for them.
Yeah, well, they improved their win total by 17 from last year. My guess is they end up trading him. They've traded almost everybody over there for the years, and again, they'll cry poverty and stuff like that. So, I don't think he's going to be on the team for a long time.
Alcantara next year is getting 17.3 mil, and then he's got a club option for 21 in 2027.
I bet you they trade him.
I would believe that now,
because that's affordable for a team that wants to add him to their staff.
Going back up north, the Minnesota Twins have a Joe Ryan issue. Team president Derek Falvey, sure, wants to improve the roster, but faces ownership uncertainty. Ownership, well, where have we heard that before? Ownership previously ordered a deadline teardown, and the only addition of new investors might shift direction. If Falvey isn't supported, Ryan and Pablo Lopez could both be traded, possibly prompting Byron Buxton to reconsider his future with the Twinks.
At this point, with everybody that you shipped off, why did you hang on to these three guys? You might as well just start over. Lopez is under contract until 2028. He's making $21.7 the next 2 years. He's 18-3 against the AAV. And you look at a guy like Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan's 30 years old. He's got 2 years left of arbitration before he becomes a free agent. Those are your two most valuable players to trade off. And then a guy like Byron Buxton definitely got to waive his no trade clause. The fact that the Twins have basically punted on everybody. You've already basically committed to that. Go all in. Those are easier contracts to move. I'd see how much you could get for them and start anew. This is a team that should be starting anew in the Minnesota Twins. And I don't think it's going to take very long to get back in the swing of things because of their division. Get some of the money off the books, get some prospects, and then go out there and next year or the year after, make a couple of signings. You can get after it again, but you can get yourself out of the Byron Buxton contract that, he's 32 years old. Or sorry, going to turn 32 years old next season.
Don't make 32 years old sound old, dude, please.
Well, he's a guy that gets hurt all the time. So he's an old 32. And he's going to be 32 next year. So he's younger than you, by the way. Pablo Lopez is going to be 30 years old next season. Also up there in years. So now's the time. Now's the time, I think, to just go young if you're the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, and in that division especially, that's a division where there's a lot of turnover consistently. You never know what you're going to get out of the AL Central every year. The Mets have an Edwin Diaz contract situation. Diaz opted out of his remaining $38 million contract, seeking a deal similar to his 5-year, $102 million contract he originally signed. Coming off a season that won him the Reliever of the Year award with a 1.63 ERA and a 38% strikeout rate, the Mets are torn. Owner Steve Cohen favors retaining him, but David Stearns is known for financial discipline. The reliever market is deep, but Diaz's proven success in New York could drive demand from contenders like Toronto, Atlanta, and Detroit. Because they can't spend money on Tarek Skubal, may as well spend it on Edwin Diaz.
Might as well give $20 million to Edwin Diaz.
When recently asked, Diaz said his odds of returning to the Mets are 50-50. Do you see Edwin Diaz back in Queens next year? I know my mother's answer to this.
What's your mother's answer?
God, I hope not.
I think Mets fans think not. So if the Mets fans don't want it, then I put it at a 75% chance that it's happening. That's my Mets logic on that.
Yeah, that's about it. Padre fans, you guys have a lot more. You have a lot more in common with Met fans than you think. Same exact thought process. Teams to increase spending. The Marlins and the Pirates. The focus here.
That's funny.
Both traditionally.
The Marlins I buy. The Pirates I don't really buy.
Both traditionally low-budget clubs are reportedly willing to spend more this offseason.
What does that mean?
Pirates GM Ben Cherington cited more flexibility than in past years for improving through trades or free agency. Marlins president Pete Bendix echoed this, noting the team's 17-win jump from 62 to 79 and focus on sustainable competitiveness. Miami could pursue infield upgrades or another starting pitcher, balancing free agent signings with opportunities for young players.
I believe the Marlins. Now, the Pirates, this is where it gets tricky with the Pirates.
Notice how that whole thing was about the Marlins, too, by the way.
The Marlins' estimated payroll next year is $59 million. They're definitely going to increase their spending, right? They're increase their spending. It's not going to take a lot of effort to do that. $59 million on their payroll expected for next year.
You know what?
Pirates is $67 million. Both of them are going to increase their spending. And if they don't, then you really have a problem.
We've been discussing so much about big teams not being able to spend if there's an incoming salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
Those same players could get grossly overpaid if there is a salary floor implemented too by teams that need to become compliant with that.
100%.
That is a side of this we have not discussed yet.
That's the whole deal. That's the whole reason why you put these rules in place.
I agree.
There's so many teams that are below a threshold that these guys are still going to get paid what they're worth. The whole idea that they're going to get hosed is such a joke.
But wouldn't it be? But it's a coup right now. If you're the Marlins or if you're the Pirates, sure, the teams don't look great right now, but it would be a coup for them to be so far under the proposed salary floor right now that they're forced to spend this big money on a Freddie Peralta who's going to still get this amount of money and bolster their roster. So, yeah, I could see big name players waiting for that particular opportunity. We've been so focused the other way that this is not a topic we've discussed yet.
They're not gonna do that because they want to be on winning teams. They want all their money. They want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want to be the highest paid player ever, but they don't want it to sacrifice the rest of their team, and they don't want to make the sacrifice to be on a good team.
But if a team like one of those two is forced to spend so much money on good players to become compliant with a salary floor, they're going to become a halfway decent team just by doing that.
I understand that, but these players are not going to just wait for next. Like, oh, I'm just going to wait to be an A, and they're going to pay me a ton of money. They still don't want to do that. They want to get in before any of these new rules potentially come in flight. You start looking at some of these teams. Minnesota, their expected payroll next year is under $100 million.
Yeah, because they had a minor league roster for half
The
of last year.
A's are at $77 million. We talked about the Pirates already. We talked about the Marlins. They're both, it was like $53 million and $67 million.
Love it.
I mean, you start looking at some of these payrolls. The Baltimore Orioles are spending $92 million on their roster next year.
And that's a lot. And that also has a lot to do with contracts from 2025 that have come off the books already that haven't been replenished. So they're lower than what would be expected.
But still, it would be the same thing as any other free agent year with a floor and a ceiling. These guys would have room to spend. And guess what? They go rack up a lot of players. That's what keeps it balanced. That's what makes it a competitive league. This is why the NFL does so great. We'll talk more about this when we come back. The ownership sale, potentially the Padres as well. Another way to look at that. 11 o'clock on the Braden Surprenant Show. All guests on 97 The Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We're giving away Aztec basketball tickets in the 1 o'clock hour. Aztec basketball tickets in the 1 o'clock hour. We gave away Aztec football tickets yesterday.
I'm just confirming that because you put that thought in my mind that it might be for Monday.
I saw an email about it.
Yeah, I know. That's
the game's on Tuesday. So
you're making me second guess myself, which is why we're doing this. Oh no, it is for Monday.
We're not giving away tickets today.
We're giving tickets away on Monday for San Diego State basketball.
Yes.
On Tuesday.
That is correct.
Giving away tickets on Monday. Monday tickets. Tickets Monday. Monday tickets. Tickets Troy. Monday San Diego State.
We'll be playing the Midday Sports Standoff at 12:40.
Basketball.
If you want to join us at 12:40, give us a call. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. All right. Let's talk about something else. We're going to talk about this couple takeaways from the general manager meetings. We're also going to talk about one more time, the news about the ownership potentially being up for grabs for the San Diego Padres. They're going to potentially sell. We'll talk about that in a second. But Frank has talked about it's the what baseball league again? United Baseball League?
I think it's Baseball United. It's the league in Dubai. It says it's on the from World Baseball Network.
That is a channel?
That's why I'm frantically looking for everything I possibly can to see where I can find this.
I remember when they launched this, it was like Dubai's kind of league. So Baseball United has a team in India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and 2 in the UAE. And I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of former MLB players in this deal.
Wait. League's YouTube channel. Hold on.
They got a YouTube channel. The only reason why Frank's excited about this is instead of like a bullpen cart, they have a bullpen camel.
Yes.
That like brings pitchers out from the bullpen.
See, now I'm excited about this because it's not a Met or a Padre. Because I remember very distinctly when we saw after a game that Juan Soto, when he was here, was riding a camel. I distinctly remember freaking out about that. Saying, why would you risk your player riding a camel for recreation?
I know this league's gotten a lot of criticism and stuff like that. The league has since announced that other current and former MLB players as co-owners, including Ronald Acuna Jr., Albert Pujols, Felix Hernandez, and Ryan Howard. Elvis Andrus is part of the ownership groups for this league. The Karachi team appointed Adrian Beltre and Miguel Tejada as its general manager and manager, respectively, back in the day. I don't even know who's in this thing. So you got it on now?
Yes. It's top of the ninth for this game.
Baseball United. This is the first season of this.
Yes. This is the first game of the first season. This is the
first game of the first season, and it's on live right now because it's
on YouTube
in the Middle East.
Mumbai versus Karachi currently.
Was that Didi Gregorius that just swung that?
Might have been, yes. I believe he is in this. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at the lineups for today's game, shall we? Justin Williams, who I don't know.
I'm going to look at these rosters.
That's for Mumbai. Jeremiah Profar. Playing for Karachi. Jose Acosta sounds like he's spent some time. So is Alex Dubbard. Sounds like he spent some time in the U.S.
Why does Young Goldberg? Why is that name familiar?
Why does their game day look better than MLB's?
I don't know.
MLB, get on that.
Max Young Goldberg. Why do I know that name?
So there's the Mumbai Cobras, the Mideast Falcons, the Karachi Monarchs, and the Arabia Wolves. Mumbai is playing Karachi right now in a game that's just ending.
No, that's why I know that name. Max Young Goldberg played at USD. He's batting third today for Karachi.
Nice.
Interesting. I don't know how many of these play. I mean, there's probably a handful. There's probably a handful of Americans in this deal playing in this league. That's pretty interesting. The camel is wild to me.
I wouldn't think Reese Miller is a guy from Arabia, but that's just me.
Mumbai is up 4-1 in the top of the ninth inning. I don't know how many of these are true. All right, so
Alejandro De Aza playing in the outfield for was it the Mideast Falcons? Former major leaguer.
I can't believe we have this on right now. This is the first game. I remember they talked about this a couple years ago, and I'm like, this is the way it's going to work. Well, here we are. Frank's watching it. All right, let's talk about this.
Y'all wanted baseball in November.
There's a lot of people, I think, maybe they are warming up to the idea that a sell of the Padres is good news. And I think a lot of people that were afraid of this news, we talked about it briefly yesterday, was they're worried about like a owner that's not going to spend money. Here's the reality of that situation. The reality of that situation is the Padres are valued at like around $2.5 billion. By being valued at $2.5 billion, that eliminates all of the owners that you would not want to buy your team in the first place. I mean, you got to think about the money that somebody would need to spend $2.5 billion on a toy. The Dick Monforts of the world aren't going to be able to afford a team like the San Diego Padres. John Fishers of the world aren't going to be able to afford a team like the San Diego Padres. And I think a lot of people go like, that guy's worth $4 billion. That's not liquid assets. Those are just assets the guy has. Stephen Cohen's worth 13 point something billion dollars, whatever it may be, but those aren't liquid assets, not all the time. So from that perspective, you have to understand the value has gotten so high for these teams. It's going to be somebody that's just got almost unlimited funds to be able to spend the money. It's the whole bleep you money guy. That's somebody that's going to be the person that is going to have the funds to buy a team. Are you starting that game over?
What else are we going to watch?
I told you, put the high school football highlights up there.
Brother.
You're going to watch the Karachi Monarchs play the Mumbai Cobras.
What else is there to watch right now?
Just hit a home run in the top of the ninth inning. The guy didn't have a number or a name on the back of his jersey. It looks like adult league baseball.
It's the Middle East, dude. They don't have a lot of money. Come on. That was sarcasm.
You got to be careful.
I know.
I mean, it looks like a softball league. This looks like a softball league. Look at the uniforms. Looks like a men's softball league. I can't believe you have that on TV right now.
Middle East is one of the richest areas in the world, but yes.
It's a nice turf field.
Oh, it's a beautiful field.
I would imagine they have to play at night.
Yeah, they spared no expense on the field.
Wow, great crowd.
Oh,
huh?
God.
All right.
We went too far.
I can't believe you're watching that.
But
I talk about this again. I to go back on track before I get distracted by the United Baseball League. The ownership thing for the Padres, like, it's going to be somebody, whoever buys the team is going to have a ton of cash and a ton of money to be able to buy the Padres because of what they're valued at. And from that reasoning and that logic, you have to understand that that's going to be somebody that's going to put money into the team. Here's the other thing that ownership groups don't want to do. If you bought the team brand new, right, and you're the brand new owner of this new baseball team, you're not going to make it in a sense of you're not going to cripple the attendance numbers. This is why I keep talking about the situation at hand and how the Padres situation of being up for sale is different than all these other teams. All those other teams that usually sell have an attendance problem. And so at the very least, a lot of these ownership groups don't care about the attendance. The attendance numbers are already low enough. Like, what are they going to get any lower? For the Padres, it is a big asset. And so the new ownership group is not going to piss off the fans by selling off players and assets and risk not having people in the seats. They're going to pump money into their team. That's what they're going to do. That the teams that win are the teams that spend money and the ones that view the ownership of the team as a toy. And that's what you're looking for the San Diego Padres. And I think that's what the Padres are going to get. I think that's what the Padres organization is going to get in a new owner. And to me, I think that's great news. Yeah, so sure, some owners don't pump a lot of money in their teams. Those are the ownership groups that bought the team a long time ago for not a lot of money and have now been out. They've been priced out of being able to afford teams. The attendance numbers are low for a lot of different reasons. Not just because they don't spend money. But if you want to continue to say that everything's going to be fine if they don't sell the team, it's a different take to me. I think they're doing the right thing. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we are going to dive into some of the priorities this offseason for the Padres. I mean, we've taken care of the manager situation. Now we have this new news about the team potentially being up for sale, but there's a lot of moves that need to be made. What are the Padres working on? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays of the National Football League on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. People are worried about the new ownership group potentially not liking baseball. And it's like they want to like buy the baseball team like they're flipping a house. If you look at the last couple of ownership groups that have come in, they're not like house flippers. You're going to get somebody that's going to anybody that's going to spend $2.5 billion on a baseball team probably likes baseball. Otherwise, it's a gigantic waste of $2.5 billion. Baseball teams are lucrative. That might be what like some of the minority owners, the ones that aren't putting up as much money, the low percentage numbers in a group might be thinking. But to spend $2.5 billion and then have to run the baseball team with no experience or not liking baseball would be the most idiotic business move. Makes no sense. As KG in the chat says, a cheap owner buys a cheap team because it requires minimal infusion of cash to keep things running. 100%. 100%. It's not with the whole, like, nobody's going to come play for the Padres now. You don't know. I mean, you see what they decide to do. You guys see what the new ownership group might be. But, I mean, there's a good chance with this day and age and how expensive teams are. Because this isn't a cheap team. This is an expensive team based on all the assets that they have and the revenue that they make. This is a team that's going to drive an owner that wants to be a part of Major League Baseball. Then again, these owners have to be approved by Major League Baseball. They're not always going to get approved. They could get the highest bidder. The guy could be like not a good baseball guy or somebody that doesn't pass the test for all the MLB owners. And guess what? He's out. Like they have to approve the owner. There's processes for these. So, but that's going to be a couple of years down the road. There it is. There's the bullpen camel. Do you have to ride the bullpen camel?
I think so. I wouldn't personally, but yeah, there it is. I don't know how well you could see it on the camera.
Oh, you can see it. It just looks like you're illegally streaming something.
Which I'm not. It's available for free on YouTube. So.
Yep, there it is.
Bullpen
There's the guy in the
camel.
Bullpen camel. That's insane.
Jurickson Profar's brother nailed a double, by the way.
Hey, good for him.
It is first at bat. And how could you not be romantic about baseball? First pitch in the history of Baseball United, solo home run. Congratulations.
What
happens? Scared to death about being on that camel.
Yeah. What happens if the camel, has he got a cleanup crew behind him?
It's a working camel. He knows he can't do it then.
He's a working camel.
It's a working camel.
You know what? There's a lot of working people that like to.
Camel knows.
There's a lot of people that like to use the bathroom on company time. Frank,
listen. The camel stays on script. Like I said, they paid money. It's a good working. It's a working camel.
Working camel. All right, let's talk about.
You don't get yourself a shoot camel for stuff like this. You get yourself a working camel.
Right. KG in the chat's put it perfectly. You're not getting any penny pinchers sniffing the Padres, only big spenders. That's 100% accurate, Frank.
Oh, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
An expensive team that's going to drive an expensive owner.
Yeah, and we said that yesterday was you're not going to buy a team at the height of its popularity with the big money contracts that it has to try to tear it down. There's so much momentum with this team and with this organization. It is very rare that you get the opportunity to buy a contending playoff organization. You're not going to tear that down. The hard work has already been done for you. You don't need to make it a playoff team. It already is. So if you're serious about buying a baseball team, this is the one you're going to buy, and you're not going to be a guy who's just barely got enough money to scrape by to get it. This is a toy that you don't have to do the work because the work's already done. You're already a playoff team. Done.
That's right. The debt ratio is not a problem, Anthony.
No.
It's just, the guy's obviously not a business guy. All right, let's talk about the on-field deal.
But every single team has debt. That's not a Padre specific issue. Every single team has debt like that.
Yeah, and it's never a huge factor for these new ownership groups that come in and pay.
Every major company, every major organization has debt.
Right. That doesn't mean they don't make money.
Exactly.
We had that conversation in the chat yesterday. Sushi Sam was out there spitting game. I thought a couple of times you were going to sit there and say, have enough money to buy a camel when you're distracted by the camel bullpen thing.
I don't worry. I know I do have the tendency to go the whole squirrel, but I know when to rein it in.
All right. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Kevin Chula Vista, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Kevin?
Yeah, hey, Braden. Different thought that occurred to me last night that those of us have been around since the beginning of Padres' time here in 1969. You realize that every single ownership group that has held this team from beginning until now has eventually blown up. That, to me, blows my mind, in that I think, and it's my opinion for what it's worth, see what you think. One of the things that the ownership groups, all of them, have failed to do on a consistent basis for many different reasons is to have a minor league system that has deliverable, bona fide major league starters. And you can count on one hand since 1969 how many of those we have brought up into the major leagues that have been successful here out of the Padres farm systems over the years, to where if you had that, you wouldn't have this constant kabuki dance that happens now every off season of having to delve into a free agency system that is chaotic at best, and you're paying for players based upon the past of their baseball card and not necessarily what you're going to get out of the future. So that's kind of what I was thinking last night as I reflected on this mess that we are going to go through again for the umpteenth time as a city as it relates to Padres ownership.
Well, you bring up a good point. I mean, it's the cheapest way to be able to put a winner together is being able to develop your own starting pitching. Being able to hang on to that starting pitching is also difficult because then you got to be able to pay for those guys to stay, or you just continue to run with young arms over and over and over again. It is an easier way to do it. It's definitely a more cost-effective way. But again, until you see a new group in here or whatever it may be, it's going to be tough to understand how much money they have to spend. I mean, let's talk about it from this perspective. We haven't really asked, Frank is a Mets fan. How much different has it been with Cohen in charge? As an owner, he's the guy that is a baseball fan that wanted to spend money. Obviously, they haven't spent the money in all the right areas, but they are putting an effort in.
Results have been the same. But it's nice to not have to worry about the penny pinching of the Wilpons anymore. Now, granted, just because you have the richest owner in baseball doesn't mean you are going to sign every single player. But it's nice to not have that worry of, can we sign this guy? Is there enough money in the budget? This, that, and the other. But honestly, it hasn't made a lick of difference to the on-the-field product. It really hasn't.
The ones that are interesting to me about this are the ones that, but it's about, the thing is they have to spend the money. That's what the owners have to do.
Yes.
It's not their job to find the players. It's their job to spend the money on the players. It's the job of their staff that they pay for to find said players. But you look at, and I want to look at this, like you start looking around Major League Baseball and the teams and what they went for and how much, what year they were acquired. I mean, think about the teams that are cheap. What's the first team that you think about when they're cheap?
Oaklamento.
John Fisher, right?
Mm-hmm.
He bought the team in 2005 for $180 million.
He's a real estate guy.
Yeah, $180 million. Now, I know there's inflation and everything like that. $180 million in 2005. That's a guy that's got probably most of his wealth in the A's, which means he can't pull from more stuff to just pump into the Athletics. The A's are that is his major asset.
Yeah, the A's are his more stuff.
That is his more stuff. He doesn't have money on the side that could just pump into the Athletics. And he's had the team since 2005. He's a guy that's hanging on to it to flip the value. Think about some other teams that don't spend.
Pittsburgh, Kansas City,
Let's
Miami.
talk about Pittsburgh. Robert Nutting bought the Pirates in 1996 for $92 million. $92 million he bought that franchise for. $92 million. Think about the owners that own some of these teams. Everybody's like, oh, they're so wealthy. He bought them for $92 million. The Phillies actually spend tons of money. They're in a big market. They got a big TV contract.
Their owner's been there forever, though.
Their owner's been there since 1981. He spent $30 million on that team.
Yeah,
but that's an organization that wants to spend money. Who else is a team? Who else is an org that doesn't spend money?
Washington,
the Nationals. They just got a new owner. Oh, they were supposed to. Did they not get one?
Yeah, I believe they just got purchased. Yeah.
Have they finalized that yet?
I'm not sure.
Because it still says the Lerner Enterprises own the team.
And again, the reason why you think of Washington, look at what has happened. Because again, if you haven't watched the Netflix documentary, Who Killed the Montreal Expos, please do yourself a favor and go watch it, especially if you're just a baseball fan. Their owner, the creator of that team, loved baseball so much. The second he sold that team, because he saw where baseball was going, didn't like it with how much money he was going to have to spend. He knew he was going to drive him into the poorhouse. So he sold the team. The second that he sold that team, that organization went straight down the drain. Also, I mean, I believe it was 2 or 3 stadium referendums also failed, which really put the nail in the coffin. But all of their issues started with an owner who loved baseball. They got priced out of it because he couldn't afford it anymore.
The Rays are cheap too. Somebody brought up. They just sold this year for $1.7 billion.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see what Patrick Zalewski, who's the new owner of the Rays, does in his first couple of years.
His first order of business is a stadium referendum. That has to be the first thing he does.
But that's another thing though. Like, he has to spend money on building a stadium and finding a stadium. The Padres' new ownership doesn't have to worry about a stadium.
He has to, or the Tampa Bay St. Pete has to.
About getting a stadium?
Yes.
I think owners should pay for their own stadium.
I agree with that 100%.
He needs to find a new home for that team.
Publicly funded.
Well, down in Tampa it might, because their taxes are lower. People are more obligated to vote for a tax in these states that don't have high taxes to build a stadium than people that have to pay a bunch of money in taxes already. You know, if you don't have a state income tax, right, and it's like, oh, we're going to tax you an extra 1% on whatever, people aren't going to, they sign it off and it's okay. It's fine. Oh, for a new stadium, sounds good. But like when you get to these states that have high taxes, it's like, I already have to pay all this money in taxes. What am I going to do that for an ownership group to build a stadium when they should be doing it for themselves? But again, keep going down the list. We just talked about Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why the Tigers, like, they're trying to shop Tarek Skubal because they don't think they can afford to pay him. Christopher Ilitch, who's American businessman and president and chief executive officer of Ilitch Holdings, bought the Detroit Tigers in 1992 for $82 million.
That's a different day and time, though.
$82 million. He bought the Tigers in 1992. These are the like we always talked about Dick Monfort, right? He bought the Rockies for $95 million in 92. $95 million. It's different. Obviously, with inflation, everything like that, it's probably like a way higher cost.
Did he buy the team or did he create the team?
He might have created the team.
That's
$95 million. Doesn't matter, though. The ownership groups that you're about to see that have spent money on these teams are the ones that have bought in more recent time. Guggenheim spent $2 billion on the Dodgers. It's a different market, but that's the type of owner that's spending money. $2 billion investment. Steve Cohen paid $2.4 billion for the Mets in 2020.
And just think, the Padres are projected to sell for $2.5 billion. You guys are more valuable than the Dodgers. Congratulations.
At the time of sell. Rays $1.7 billion. That one's still to be determined. And then the Orioles at $1.7 billion as well. There's not a lot of owners in baseball that spent $1 billion on their team. The only other one was the Kansas City Royals, who sold in 2020 for $1 billion.
And a lot of organizations that have gotten new owners, not just in baseball, but in sports, have had a very, very good track record recently as far as having success after the sale because their owner is putting money into the team. The big money people are understanding now that owning a sports team is not how you make money. It is how you mess around with the money you have.
Yes. You make your money on the sports team when you sell it. You have fun while you own it.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a yacht. Except for the difference is your team appreciates over time where the yacht does not.
You know what boat stands for, right?
No.
Bust out another 1,000.
There you go. So I'd never want to own a boat. Adrian in San Diego, you're the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Adrian?
Hey, good morning, guys. Just you gotta excuse me for not educating myself all the way on this one, but I've always been told that the Padres and the ownership and all that have these backdating ties to the O'Malley family. Is that correct?
Well, the Siler family, they're part of the O'Malley family. Peter and all those, the O'Malleys were their grandkids, or grandparents.
So as a lifelong Padre fan, get us away from the O'Malley family as far as possible. Someone come by us. Get us from the Dodgers, man. We don't want to be around them no more. Me personally, that's kind of how I feel when I heard the news.
All right, Adrian. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, fair play, but whatever.
But no, not really. I mean, you want your own team and you buy your own team. You eliminate your fandom when you were a kid. That's how it works. You got to root for, if you bought a team and that was like your moneymaker, I mean, that was your identity. It was your team. You're not going to root for the team you grew up rooting for. It's the same thing like when you were a kid. You think any of these guys, I mean, I'm sure some local San Diego kids don't mind seeing the Padres have success as they play for other MLB teams. But when it comes down to it, do you think they're going to be rooting for the Padres over themselves? Come on now.
No, we've talked to guys. We've talked to Sean Bouchard. We've talked to Mickey Moniak. They want to beat them when they come when the Rockies come here.
Cole Brooks, boo, Adrian. It's this. Come on. That's cutting off your nose to spite your face. 100%. That just doesn't make any sense. But again, there's not a lot of these teams that have been available to top-end spenders. And the Padres are going to be a team that's going to be available to a top-end spender. And that's why I think this is good news.
And that's why, what you brought up with how much money was being sold, it costs so much equity to purchase a sports team now. It makes no fiscal sense for you to blow $2.5 billion if you don't want to see it succeed. You're putting way too much equity into it to try to make money off of it and that be your only goal. Doesn't make sense.
You know how much Jerry Reinsdorf paid for the White Sox in 81?
$20.
$20 million. A lot of the problems that some of these teams, especially, and you have to view it from the perspective of the teams that don't spend in big markets. They're usually families that have owned the team for a long period of time, and that is their money.
Mm-hmm.
Is that team? That's where most are they're worth this. It's not liquid assets. They're not going to get that until they sell. It's like the Spanos family with the Chargers.
And like I mentioned before, that's where the Expos owner saw it was going, so he sold. He knew he couldn't afford it anymore. He knew he couldn't afford it anymore. He knew he could not afford to put the amount of money into the team that he needed to in order for it to be consistently competitive. So he got rid of it. And it killed the team. Well, it started the dissension of the team.
If I have to ask you this one trivia question because we got to get to break. We're well overdue. Out of all the current ownership groups in baseball, all the current ones, who bought their team for the least amount of money? It's a trick question. It's got to be something like you got to be thinking like long term.
I would have to.
Who spent the least amount of money buying their team out of the current ownership groups?
It wouldn't be the Yankees because they sold it. The Yankees sold it to Steinbrenner, sold it to CBS, and then bought it back in the 80s.
No, they have it listed as them buying them in 73.
Or the 70s, whatever. He sold it and then bought it back from CBS. Is it Boston?
No, it is the Yankees.
It is the Yankees.
They spent $8.7 million on the purchase price.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When did Steinbrenner sell it to CBS?
That could be one of the notes in there. But yeah, they bought the team for $8.7 million back in 73. How about that? White Sox, next cheapest at $20 million. Philadelphia Phillies, $30 million in 81. Twins were bought in 1984 for $44 million. You wonder why they're shedding payroll. Tigers, $82 million in 92. Pirates, $92 million in 96. Rockies, $95 million in 92. What do all these teams have in common, Frank? Aside from the Yankees.
Wait, one more time.
What do most of these teams have in common? Yankees sold for $8.7 million. You could really cross them out. They're in a big market.
It says 10 here, but
White Sox, $20 million. Phillies, $30 million. Twins, $44 million. Tigers, $82 million. Pirates, $92 million. Rockies, $95 million.
Small markets.
Small markets and teams that aren't very good.
Mm-hmm.
Teams that don't spend money, except for the Yankees and the Phillies.
So Steinbrenner sold 80% of the Yankees to CBS for $11.2 million in 64, and then bought the team back for 10 in 73.
We got to get to break.
Yes.
We're going to come back. We get to the sports thread. Braden Surprenant Show. Saturday's number sports station 97 through the Fan. All right, it's that time. And remember to listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game with all of the fan staff. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. But it's also time for the sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right. What do we got in the sports world that's not Padres related?
Good amount of stuff, actually.
Number 1.
This first one we'll discuss a little bit more with Drake at the end of the show. But we told you yesterday about the Major League Soccer owners meeting that was happening, and that now for next year, starting next year, you only need Apple TV Plus in order to watch MLS games. You don't need to have the MLS season pass in order to watch them. The other 2 votes that were up were a change of schedule and a change in the standings. Major League Soccer Board of Governors voted to align with international calendar by shifting the regular season to a summer to spring campaign beginning in 2027. So next year will be in the summer again. And then in 2027, the season will start in August as the European schedules do. The change would see the season kick off in mid-July and run through the spring with decision day in April and the MLS Cup playoffs in May. The MLS would allocate a winter break to prioritize player recovery, pausing action from mid-December to mid-February. So there would be no games played between the middle of December all the way through January and through the middle of February. So the league will shut down.
The league will shut down.
Yes.
During the end of the NFL season, through the NFL playoffs, and the Super Bowl.
Hey, that's a coinky dink,
I
isn't
think
it?
that's probably the real reason why they're shutting down during those months.
More than 90% of games are expected to be played in the footprint that the league currently employs. So that is big, big, big news for the Major League Soccer. And also for us here in San Diego. You get to watch your team play and not have to decide whether or not, or do I want to go see San Diego FC tonight, or do I want to see the Padres tonight?
It's great. Great news. I like all these changes for the MLS. It's going to make it easier to watch with that new deal. It's going to be, not put them behind a super paywall. That's really a super paywall because you have to pay for Apple TV Plus. Then you have to pay for the package on top of that.
Yeah, owners have been trying all year, or the last couple of years, to try to get out from behind that super paywall. So they finally did it.
Number 2.
The NFL has filed a grievance against the NFL Players Association, asking the union to stop its annual team report cards and saying the exercise violates the collective bargaining agreement by airing public criticisms of teams. So the owners got their fifis hurt by the players saying how they truly feel. The league claims the report cards, which polls every player on various aspects of working conditions, violated a CBA clause that said the NFL owners and the union must, quote, use reasonable efforts to curtail public comments by club personnel or players which express criticism of any club, its coach, or its operation and policy, according to an August letter from the league's management council to the NFLPA General Counsel Dom DePasso, that was obtained by the four-letter network. After months of discussion with the league after the letter, the NFLPA alerted its players of the grievance filed last week and said it's moving ahead with this year's survey. Owners got their fifis hurt, and now they're wanting to punish the players for it.
We have forbid the players hold the owners in the NFL accountable for their cheapness, basically.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the National Football League. This is the biggest league in the United States. This is the biggest moneymaker in the United States. If you don't like it, improve your facilities. You should be like the groups that are doing a great job should be excited about this. Like, hey, look, come play here. We take care of you. It's funny. I saw that on a podcast the other day. A.J. McCarron. Remember A.J. McCarron?
Yeah.
Quarterback in Alabama, played at Cincinnati. He played for the Bengals. He's on the podcast. He's talking about how miserable it is going to London to play games. Yeah. He mentioned this about the Bengals. He said, when I was playing with the Bengals, they used to, when they would get the gear from Nike, whoever it was, like the gear that they hand out to all the players, like all the swag and stuff like that, they would keep half of the gear and not pass all of it out. So at the end of the season, they could sell it at the garage sale and say player issued worn apparel, even though they never touched that apparel to try to make some of the money back because that's how cheap of an organization the Bengals are.
God,
that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. He was laughing when he's telling the story. He's like, it was amazing. We would only get half of the stuff we were supposed to get because the Bengals would keep it and then sell it at the end of the year at a garage sale. I don't know if they're still doing that. This is what A.J. McCarron said on a podcast. I thought that was the funniest thing. And you know what? It fits right in line with, I bet you the Bengals bitched about this. They're the team that always comes to mind.
You know who's really complaining about this and leading the charge on this grievance? Woody Johnson, who's the owner of the New York Metropolitans, whose players gave him an F on this report card.
Yeah, he was upset, the Jets guy.
Yeah.
The Johnson & Johnson.
Yes, Woody Johnson, yes.
Yeah.
What a guy.
He called out Justin Fields in public, too. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, what happened to not knocking your players' organization and stuff like that in public? What happened to that? Where was that grievance in the CBA when he said that a couple weeks ago? Dope.
Number 3.
14 people were charged for their roles in a multi-million-dollar illegal sports betting ring. Exactly right.
But the NCAA, right?
That involved college athletes and had links to organized crime in New Jersey. According to authorities, Joseph Little Joe Perena.
Little Joe.
Yeah, Little Joe.
Little Mo.
A member of the Lucchese crime family.
Nice.
And his associates ran a nationwide network of bookmakers who used offshore websites to facilitate approximately $2 million in bets between 2022 and 2024. New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin said several college athletes operated a sports book at the direction of Little Joe. Platkin did not answer questions regarding which college sports or which colleges or sports were involved in the betting ring. The NCAA is aware of the charges and is looking into the case. More and more and more and more.
Just the tip of the iceberg, man.
This is on.
Just the tip of the iceberg. Let's get to the Pac-12 deal.
Yeah, let's do that.
Number 4.
The Pac-12 has found another media partner in USA Sports, which announced Thursday it would televise 22 football games, 50 men's basketball games, and up to 10 women's basketball games at the beginning of next year. The conference, which lost all but 2 of its programs in the latest surge of realignment, will be back to 9 teams for the 2026-2027 season. USA Network is among the handful of properties being spun off from Comcast NBC to become the new company Versant in the deal.
They mentioned how much money every school gets? No, they haven't.
No,
they haven't. They haven't done that for any one of their deals, which is interesting to me. Every other TV contract that we've seen with the power schools have seen money figures. Speaking of money,
so much money.
What happened on the Ben and Wood show that perked their interest? We'll talk about it when we come back.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on a drizzly, rainy Friday in America's finest city. We also are going to have a drizzly, rainy Saturday. Probably a little bit worse tomorrow than it is today, as we welcome in the Boise State Broncos to take on the San Diego State Aztecs. That game will be, again, as mentioned before, tomorrow, as it will be a 7:30 kickoff. So hopefully most of the rain has already gone and away before Boise State shows up to play the Aztecs, a very important game in the Mountain West. And to preview the game, we got Shaun Goodwin, covers the team for the Idaho Statesman. He's joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show. Shaun, what's going on? How's your Friday going?
I'm good, Braden. Appreciate you having me on. I am in a currently still a slightly sunnier Boise, but getting ready to leave later today. And I heard this is the first time you guys have had rain in like 4 months. So I don't know if that's a bad sign or what.
Yeah, it doesn't rain too often. It's funny, like a lot of teams like coming to Southern California in late November, mid-November, because it's a nice little sunshine spot. Unfortunately for Boise State and the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are going to play USC this weekend, they don't get much. They don't get very great weather this weekend. But let's talk about the Boise State Broncos. Obviously, Shaun got off to a rough start, having to losing to a good USF team at the beginning of the season. Found their stride a little bit more. Had a tough loss to Fresno State. What's the overall synopsis of this Boise State team after 1 year removed from being in the college football playoff last year?
Honestly, it's a little testy right now. Obviously, this is a fan base that is useful of success, and coming off Ashton Jenksy season and the college football playoffs, this season was going to be a big test of is quarterback Maddox Magson, who of course is injured for this game, up to the task, and is new offensive coordinator Nick Potter and Spencer Danielson as head coach up to lead a team that doesn't have a Heisman candidate running back. It's 6-3. They've won some good games, good win into UNLV. But then you travel to South Florida and get blown out. And obviously there was the loss to Notre Dame 28-7, which to be expected. But at the end of the day, we've got 3 games left in conference play. Boise State, San Diego State, the 2 teams at the top, and everything's still on the table, at least conference championship-wise. So, yeah, I think the plans are a little bit testy, but it's all still on the table.
We're talking with Shaun Goodwin, who writes and covers this Boise State team for the Idaho Statesman. Give us a preview of Boise State and San Diego State coming up tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. 3 straight wins for the Broncos after a couple of after a loss to South Florida. 3 straight wins, and they got a loss to Notre Dame and 3 straight wins, and then of course that meltdown loss at Fresno State, which was kind of a crazy time. And as you mentioned before, it's a little testy at Boise. They got booed off the field, which might be one of the first times that's ever been the case. What happened specifically in that Fresno State game? Because as you mentioned, the South Florida game was, first game of the year. It's hard to gauge what you're going to be. Notre Dame loss is expected for a team that's ranked, and you got to play on the road. But what Fresno State team that had struggled most of the season and most of the Mountain West season, a team that San Diego State blew out of the water. They had another bad loss as well. What happened in that game at home that was really eye-opening to you?
I mean, the big thing was Maddox Magson, the starting quarterback, getting injured. Fresno State, Boise State, it's got the rivalry, the milk can, going back, 15 plus years now. So Fresno State was always going to bring their A game, but Maddox Madsen goes down halfway through the first quarter. Backup Max Cookforth comes in, who he'll be starting this weekend as well. And honestly, he just didn't look ready for the moment. It was kind of a deer in headlights. And on the coaching side, it just felt like there weren't any adjustments. It was still just trying to run the ball up the gut. Nothing, the scheme didn't change from Maddox. Maddox, he knows the offense. He's played in it for, as a starter, a year and a half now. This was Max Cookforth's first real test. And there was just no adjustments, which I think the fans, you lose 30-7 at home to a huge rival, understandably annoyed. But I think it was more so the coaching adjustments just went there. And I think that's what fans and media are going to be looking out for tomorrow. They've had 2 weeks to prepare with a backup quarterback. They're missing 2 of their top 3 receivers. What will the offense look like tomorrow?
What can you tell us about Max Cutforth? I mean, we know that he's a redshirt sophomore. We know he's from Idaho. We know he's the first Idaho-born Boise State starter in 33 years. He's getting tasked to represent his hometown, his home school against San Diego State in a very pivotal game. Obviously, the team's firing it with its best cylinders with Maddox Madsen. What does Max Cutforth bring to the Boise State Broncos tomorrow?
I'd say one of the big things that he definitely has over Maddox is the arm strength. He can sling that ball downfield. But to get to that point, in that last game, it just looked like he'd rush out of the pocket too early. His head would be down. He wouldn't see the play, wouldn't understand the offense as well, which I get, coming in as a backup is understandable. So if he comes into this game with a lot more confidence, a lot more understanding of what he's expected to do, you could see some throws downfield that maybe fans aren't used to seeing otherwise with Boise State, because that's not really Madsen's MO. He's more looking for the screen and the bubble passes and the medium range passes underneath. So that could be something to look out for. But otherwise, I honestly think this might be a game where Boise State just relies on the ground game, especially with the rain. You've got Dylan Riley, Sire Gaines, Malik Sherrod, the Fresno State guy that Californians will be familiar with. So all things considered, if Cookforth goes out and has 15 throws and it's mostly a ground game situation, I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's talk about Boise State's defense. I mean, obviously with the rain, it's going to be probably a ground game for the Aztecs. They got a nice steady of backs in the backfield with all local players. Lucky Sutton and Christian Washington and Byron Cardwell. They have been very successful all season. It's big key playmakers on the defense for Boise State. And you can tell us about this defense, but kind of with the middle linebacker of another San Diego kid, Marco Notriani from Torrey Pines. Should be a fun matchup, I think, in running the ball and stopping the run. Some old school football on Saturday. But what does the defense bring for the Broncos?
Yeah, I know Marco's excited about the potential of rain. He said this is his kind of game, especially going home. And, he had a huge game back in 2023 against San Diego State as well. But yeah, also the defense, it's interesting because for about all of last year and the start of this year, the big issues with the secondary, guys just getting beat over the top, broken coverage, explosive plays across the balls. Boise State was one of the worst for giving up explosive plays. And I'd say the last 4 or 5 games, they've rarely got it together. I feel like the cornerbacks thing, you've got Ty Benefield as the free safety back there, just controlling it all. They have a lot better understanding, I feel, now of, their starting position, where they need to be on the field, as opposed to they were a couple of games ago. And it's a lot of upperclassmen. Ty Benefield's a junior, Jeremiah Airby is a senior. You've got who else is back there? Jaden Mickey, he'll probably be coming back from injury. He's a redshirt junior from Notre Dame. It's a very experienced secondary and defense that is, thankfully for Boise State, coming into their own at the right time of the season.
Last thing for you, Shaun. I mean, you have a hell of an accent, man. How did you end up covering Boise State Bronco football and basketball? I know you spent some time at the Kansas City Star. You studied at the University of Kansas, but How did you? First of all, where's the exit from, and how did you get into covering American football?
Yeah, so from Liverpool, England, moved to the States in 2011 when I was 14. Yeah, I started watching football late high school, early college. With Alex Smith years for the Chiefs before we went into Mahomes. But I was also born in the fires of KU football. My 4 years there was the 4 years of David Beatty. I think we won 3 games in my 4 years at KU. And, if I enjoy covering football as a college student with a team doing that bad, it's a lot better when you get to a team doing well. So, yeah, I was in Kansas City for about a decade, and, I've been in Boise for the last 4 years and doing Boise State for this is my 2nd season.
That's awesome. Well, during those years, I'm pretty sure they beat Texas at least once, if I recall correctly. Yeah. I was around those times. I was in college too. I was at TCU, so a lot of hard-fought games between TCU and Kansas over those years too. But hey, let me ask you this: while I have you on the line, I mean, you're from Liverpool, and I find it interesting with like we have all these international games with the NFL. How successful is that for the people back at home? I mean, how into American football are the people of England and London and all the other European countries?
It's definitely growing, man. I don't have that many friends back home still that I chat to. It's been 14 years, but just from the sense I get, when they started doing the international games a decade ago, sometimes the game wouldn't be over and BBC would have something else on and they just cut the game early. And now at this point, you can go on Sky Sports News, which is, England's version of ESPN, and American football is right there along the sides with the standings and the scores and updates. And I'm sure it's got a bit of a ways to go until it overtakes soccer and whatnot. But the NFL is making inroads. Their hard work is paying off. So we'll see where it goes.
Shaun, appreciate the time, man. Have a good weekend this weekend, and look forward to talking to you again, maybe during the basketball season when the Broncos take on the Aztecs in hoops.
Yeah, sure, Braden. Appreciate it. I'll always be around.
Shaun Goodwin, who covers Boise State, kid from Liverpool, out there in Boise, Idaho, covering the Broncos, writing for the Idaho Statesman. That was not really what I was expecting. Frank. That was a thick accent.
I found the one Brit in Idaho. Apparently,
that's awesome.
There's 5 people in Idaho to begin with, but I found the one Brit. I'm impressed with myself on that one. Like, I kind of got it because he had called a little earlier in the show, and I kind of heard something.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was like,
this guy's from Idaho.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how Idaho people sound. And then when the interview really started, I'm like, I thought Irish. Sorry. I know that's really, really bad of me. I thought Irish because the picture.
Stop. You're digging yourself in a bigger hole, dude. Just stop.
But yeah, when he said British, I'm like, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense.
That was crazy. That was fun though. I had a good time.
Yeah, that was great. I loved every second of that. That was great.
We'll talk more Aztec football later on. We do our college football picks. But when we come back, Woods got a text. Got an interesting text. They talked about it on Ben and Woods, and maybe a new potential owner. What did Woods get in a text? We'll play that clip and talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right. 12:19. We got a Scrappy report yet on the rain? Have we seen anything outside?
I haven't looked, but it looks like it has rained, but it doesn't look like it's raining right at this moment.
Thank you. What does Scrappy say?
What does Scrappy say? What does the Scrappy say?
Wow, it is raining really hard. This is being cool here on the Entercom Empire, so if you're sitting out there.
What?
That's the best. Gets me every time. That's better than the Family Guy, it's gonna rain. That's the best. It's so funny. All right. It doesn't actually look that wet outside. It just looks cloudy.
You could tell it has rained, but I haven't seen it.
I'm just hoping for better weather tonight. Not for any impact of any games. I just, coaching in the rain is not fun. It's just you're sitting there. So I hope it's less. All right, let's get to what we wanted to talk about here as we take a look. All guests, again, thanks to Shaun Goodwin for joining us today. All guests on 97th The Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I wanted to get to this. It is the clip from earlier today. I don't know why my computer doesn't want to work. Of the morning show, Ben and Woods, talking about a text that Woods got that leads to an interesting conversation about who could potentially buy the San Diego Padres. Here's Ben and Woods from earlier today.
But I got a text yesterday from a buddy, and I'll just read it to you. Said, hey, he actually called me Big Dog.
Big Dog.
It's not really my nickname.
What up, Big
DOG
Dog?
or DAWG?
DAWG,
Nice.
which is better,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, than DOG.
Right.
That means I'm a dog. I'm really not. I don't really have a lot of dog in me.
DOGG sometimes?
Oh, that would be good.
Double G?
Big Dog. Thought this might be interesting. I have a close friend in the Rams organization, PR department. Called him this morning after the news dropped. The word is Kroenke is very interested in the Padres. Apparently, he has been inquiring since Peter passed. Okay, Stan Kroenke. He owns several sports teams, Ben.
Stan Kroenke owns, in particular, the Los Angeles Rams and the Denver Nuggets, both.
And the Avalanche as well, I believe.
World champions, and I believe you're right.
And
the
a soccer
Colorado
team as
Avalanche.
well.
I believe he owns a soccer team as well. He owns the Mammoth of the.
Teams.
He owns a lacrosse league team, the
Oh, he
Colorado
owns the
Mammoth.
Mammoth?
Yeah.
Man.
He owns the Rapids, the MLS team in Denver. Most of them are in Denver. Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, Colorado Rapids, Colorado Mammoth. He owns the Screaming Eagle Winery and Vineyards.
My favorite.
He owns
winery.
the Wagoner Ranch, and he owns the Los Angeles Rams. He also owns Arsenal,
That's
which
a big
is
one.
the big English Premier League team. He owns a lot of stuff.
He owns a lot of stuff.
Lot of stuff.
His fingers are in a lot of pies.
Right.
He has a lot of pies.
He knows how to delegate, though, because most of those teams
Pretty
are fairly successful. And he obviously can't be like every single day running every single team.
KJD said he also owns the Colorado River.
All right, so that's the
just own the
as we cut it off there. And then we get back to our little deal here. It brings up an interesting conversation. It brings up an interesting conversation about Stan Kroenke. Now, here's everything you need to know about Stan Kroenke. And Ben Woods kind of talked about it a little bit. Stan Kroenke's, according to Forbes, is worth $21.3 billion. Now, a lot of that is the assets that he owns. And when you own teams like Arsenal and the Rams, and you own what else did he own? He owns the, what's it called? The Nuggets. I mean, they went through the whole list. Chairman of THF Realty. He's the owner and co-chairman of Arsenal, which owns the Arsenal women. He's the CEO and owner of the Rams, owner of the Nuggets, owner of the Avalanche, owner of the Rapids, owner of the Mammoth, owner of Screaming Eagle Winery and Vineyards, owner of Wagoner Ranch. He owns a lot of different things. He also is a part of the group down there that is building the Midway Rising project. So he's already got kind of a foot in the door. And it sounds like from the text that Woods got, take it for what it's worth, he might be interested in buying the Padres. That's according to this text. Again, take it for what it's worth. We're not reporting any type of news on that. We are mostly saying, like, what would it be like if he owned the team? I think there's a big reason for it. I do know that with him being part of the Walton family, he married into the Walton family. Everybody know who the Walton family is? The founders of Walmart. He married Ann Walton back in the 70s. Stan Kroenke did. And she has her own net worth that is separate from Stan's. Her net worth is $13.2 billion, which compared to the rest of the Waltons is very low. But when Stan Kroenke was part of this group that was in charge of the Midway Rising project that they're putting down there in the Midway district, and there's still some things and hurdles they have to jump through. Everybody was afraid, like, well, he's not going to bring an NBA team or an NHL team here. He already owns them. That wasn't the point. The grandkids, the Walton grandkids, want to get involved with sports, was what I heard. And from that particular situation, a lot of this starts to make sense. Top of the fact that he doesn't own a baseball team, I mean, that is a little bit more, I mean, that's like the one thing he doesn't have. The one thing Stan Kroenke doesn't have is baseball. He's got hockey. He's got the NHL with the Avalanche. He's got the NBA with the Denver Nuggets. He's got MLS with the Rapids. He's got the Indoor Lacrosse League with the Mammoth. He's got the NFL with the Rams. The only thing he doesn't have is baseball. Guy's got all the teams. He's even got one of the most prominent teams in Europe, in Arsenal. Frank, how good is Arsenal?
They never win, but they're at the top of the table every year.
There you go. So that is a guy that has always had successful teams. I mean, let's think about the teams with that. Rams have won a Super Bowl in recent years. They are probably one of the best teams in the National Football League right now. They are the best team in the NFC, I think. The Nuggets just won an NBA Finals not too long ago. The Avalanche have been legit. I mean, these are all teams that have had a lot of success with Stan Kroenke as the owner. And he's a guy that spends money on his teams. And how about this? I mean, we don't know about most of those leagues have caps. He'd potentially be in a league that doesn't have a cap. Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? I tried doing that on my computer, Frank, and it's just like, it's just such a pain. We could talk about that later.
I'm trying to get a specific video up on YouTube, and
or a playlist that was actually, the playlist is legit. I just looked at it to get it up on the YouTube screen. But anyway, I think it's interesting. I think that would be a major step in the right direction if the Padres get sold to a guy like Stan Kroenke or Stan Kroenke in general. He's exactly who I thought of when the team was up for sale. And now it makes a lot of sense. And the fact that he might be interested, I think he's huge. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff, but when we come back, it's time to talk about the NFL and get to our NFL whip around on San Diego's number sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This holiday season, too many San Diegans will go hungry. Join 97 through the Fan and support the San Diego Food Bank. Donate food directly online through our Odyssey San Diego Food Fund, where every donation helps feed local families. Go to 97throughthefansd.com/food fund and give today. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Before we get to the midday sports standoff, it's time to talk some NFL football. NFL whip around.
All righty.
Game last night.
Yeah, we've been busy on the show today, so I completely forgot to update this, and I do not have the buy or sell, the overreactions on there, whatever.
Sounds like I'll have to help you with that.
Yep, you might have to. The New York Metropolitans played the New England Patriots last night, and for as good as it looked, for as long as it did, the Metropolitans do fall to the New England Patriots by a final score of 27-14.
Yeah, Patriots look good. They've looked good the whole year. They're now 9-2 on the season. I know the Jets are the Jets, but they still got to be able to take care of business. It's a division rival. You got to play them at home. Got to see the new Nor'easter uniforms that they have.
Yeah, those are nice.
Those are sweet. That's what the
on right
Patriots
now,
should actually. That's what the Patriots should actually be wearing. Is that the silver helmets are a bad look?
Yeah,
this is a way better look. You know what? You want to make that jersey just regular blue, like for the New England Patriots. This would be a way better uniform than what they currently have.
It is a slick look.
The
Starting
Matt
off
White, too, is money.
Yeah. Now, let's talked about a European game earlier. We have another one coming up this week at the Bernabeu in Madrid. 3-7 Washington Commanders versus the 3-7 Miami Dolphins. Boy, they got a game to put in the same building that Real Madrid plays in. Dolphins favored by 2.5 on over in Spain.
I like the Dolphins in this one. The Commanders have just been awful, and they still don't have Jaden Daniels playing. They have a lot of injuries. They're not going to have Terry McLaurin either. Dolphins are playing a little bit better football too. I like the Dolphins against the Commanders in this one.
Buy or sell. Commanders running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt will record at least 80 yards rushing for the first time in over a month.
I'll buy it.
Cool. The 5-5 Carolina Panthers will take on the 3-6 Atlanta Falcons. Here's stateside. Falcons favored by 3.5.
I will take, in this particular game, I like the Falcons at home. Carolina kind of came back down to earth against the Saints. Look really bad against New Orleans. Cost me a survivor pick. Those damn Panthers. So we're going to go with the Falcons, the Dirty Birds.
Buy or sell. Atlanta Falcons cornerback A.J. Terrell Jr. will allow no more than one reception to McMillan. Wide receiver.
To Torrey McMillan.
Yeah.
I'll sell that.
Okay.
McMillan will have a couple catches.
The 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up in Buffalo to take on the Bills, who are also 6-3. Bills favored by 5.5.
Stats to know in this game, Josh Allen has exactly 2 turnovers in all 3 of the Bills' losses. He has 1 turnover in their 6 wins. Something to look at and something to monitor as Josh Allen goes against pretty good defense of Tampa Bay. I like Buffalo to bounce back at home here and get their 7th win of the season. Tampa, I was a little surprised that Tampa couldn't beat the Patriots at home last week, but I'll take Buffalo. I think Buffalo bounces back.
Buy or sell. Bills running back Ty Johnson will record at least 40 receiving yards.
Johnson could be the latest running back to take advantage of Bucs linebacker Voka Dennis coverage struggles. So, I'll buy it.
Cool. Fantastic. Love to see it. The 4-5 Houston Texans taking on the 1-8 Tennessee Titans. Believe it or not, Titans are home dogs in this game. 5.5 points. Houston's favored by.
All right, here's my thought process on this game. You ready?
Go for it.
We are now in the weird time of survivor pools.
Oh, God.
This is the time where it's almost like the witching hour on the red zone. This game is a game that I feel like everybody's going to pick the Texans. It's a great time to use the Texans as a survivor pick. This is when survivor pools get blown up. I think the Titans win at home. I think they get Houston. This is a division game. You see them twice a year. Every year you get to play them at home. They still don't have CJ Stroud at quarterback. It's setting up to be a game that is going to make people that pick the Texans sweat it out in a survivor pool. That's what this game screams to me. So we're not doing it. In fact, we picked the Patriots last night. This game screams problem for survivor pools. So if you got a survivor pick, I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. I would not. CJ Stroud is out. It's a road game for the Texans. It's a division game. I'm just saying. It's got a lot of symptoms of what is a survivor destroyer. I'm going to take the Titans plus 6.5 in this game.
DJ Royal, let a guy have fun. How about that one?
Chester Paultons is great, dude.
Titans edge rusher Arden Key, who returned to practice on Wednesday from a quad strain, will record a sack.
Yes, he will, because the Titans are going to get a win.
There you go. The 5-3-1 Green Bay Packers take on the 2-8 New York Giants. Giants 7.5-point dogs at home.
By the way, Titans are 8-1-1 against the spread in their past 10 games following a bye. I'm telling you.
Cool.
Titans, tighten up. Can we come up with better sayings than just my team name up? Bolt up, tighten up.
Giant up.
Giant up. Packer up. Excuse me? I'll take the Packers on the road. Phrasing.
Buy or sell Giants linebacker Bobby
Okiri.
Yeah, thank you.
Okereke. It's Okereke.
Yeah, that's what it was. Will record 12 plus tackles.
Sure.
Cool.
They're going to be on the field a lot.
The 6-3 team that is known as are on the road in Minnesota taking on the Vikings, who are 4-5. Surprised me. Vikings are 2.5-point favorites in this game.
I like the Vikings at home.
Really?
Yeah, I like the Vikings at home. Here's a stat to know. Even though the Bears are tied with the Lions for the best record in the NFC North, Caleb Williams is 1-7 versus the division, including 0-2 this season. The Bears haven't beaten anybody in the division yet. They're playing on a last place schedule. They've struggled with a lot of those teams. They've etched out wins. The Vikings are getting better with JJ McCarthy back. I like the Vikings at home. There's a reason why Vegas knows. Vegas knows. I'll take Minnesota by 2.5.
Vegas knows too much, which is why everyone's getting arrested now.
That's right.
Buy or sell, McCarthy will throw multiple interceptions in this game.
Yeah, he hasn't been very accurate. I'll buy that. I still think they win, though. I think it's a sloppy game.
The 3-6 Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 5-4 Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers favored by 5.5.
Pittsburgh wins big. The Bengals have the league's worst rushing attack. They did run all over the Steelers in an upset win in Week 7 on Thursday Night Football. Steelers wore the yellow pants. Tells you what you need to know. But the game's in Pittsburgh. They're feeling the heat a little bit now from the Baltimore Ravens knocking on the door. This is a game the Steelers dominate. And until you actually get to see Joe Burrow back on the field, it's going to be tough to pick the Bengals in any of these games. Here's a stat to know for this game, though. Bengals receiver Jamar Chase has receiving touchdown in 3 straight games versus Steelers. He would be the first player with a receiving touchdown in 4 straight games versus Pittsburgh since Carl Pickens did it for the Bengals 94-96. Start Jamar Chase. I still think the Steelers win big in this one.
Buy or sell, Steelers tight ends will combine for at least 10 receptions.
Well, Aaron Rodgers got to find some way to get going.
Yeah.
Lean on the tight ends. I'll buy it.
The 7-3 Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who come in at 5-4. Jags 2.5-point dogs at home.
They look loud. They choked bad against Houston last week.
Yeah.
Bad. Are they going back to being mediocre Jacksonville?
I mean,
Chargers have a bad time playing in Florida. Remember that big lead they had in the playoffs a couple years ago? Just choked it away. I'll take the Jags. Every time the Chargers start making gains, they have a loss like this. I'll take Jacksonville.
Buy or sell, Justin Herbert will attempt 40-plus passes.
I'll buy it. They rank second in pass rate over expectation per Next Gen Stats.
Sticking with Los Angeles, the Rams are at home taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Both teams are at 7-2. This has division championship implications on it. Rams favored by 3.5.
I already put out there that I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. If I think they're the best team in the NFC, that means they got to be the best team in their division. And if they win, they'll be in sole possession of first place in their division. I'm taking the Rams.
Buy or sell, Rams defensive tackle Kobe Turner will record and sack.
Buy it. Starting center is out for the Seahawks. Jalen Sundell is out. So you're going to have a backup in there. I will take a sack from the interior lineman.
San Francisco 49ers at 6-4, taking on the 3-6 Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals 2.5-point home dogs.
I'll take the Niners. Isn't Brock Purdy back?
I
think he is.
Looking through, I'm not seeing anything that
I saw that.
is.
I think he's back. If he's back, then for sure. If he's not back, then probably still yes. The Cardinals are terrible unless they play the Cowboys on Monday Night Football.
And they got
and Jacoby Brissett's still playing quarterback.
Yes. 49ers backup running back Brian Robertson Jr. will record at least 50 rushing yards for the second time this year.
Sure. I hope not, because I have Christian McCaffrey. But you know what? At this point in time, they're going to be up so big on Arizona that they're going to have to play their backup.
The resurging Baltimore Ravens at 4-5, taking on the 2-7 Cleveland Browns. Clay, I know you're on hold. Just cover your ears on this one.
Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens are going to win that division.
Ravens are 7.5-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, I'll take the Ravens for sure.
I
I would have taken them in Survivor, but we already used them.
Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers will record his first 100-yard receiving game since the opening week of the season.
Absolutely. Yes. Buy it.
The Kansas City
Sorry,
Chiefs.
Clay. It's bad watching the Browns, dude.
The Kansas City Chiefs are at 5-4, going to the Mile High City for Broncos 3.5-point dogs at home, even though they sit at 8-2 on the season.
Kansas City's going to beat them down. That's a game that Kansas City's going to win to just get them back in it. Everybody, the Broncos have been kind of like meandering around the top. They haven't necessarily done anything that spectacular. They are 8-2. You got to respect 8-2. It's the NFL.
8-2
but
is a heck of a meandering job.
Just look at who they've played all season. I think Kansas City's going to go in there and win. Kansas City's trying to avoid losing 2 straight games for the second time this season. They haven't lost 2 straight games multiple times in a season since 2017. I'm telling you, they're winning.
Patrick Mahomes will record a 90-plus QBR and be the MVP favorite. Come on, Jesus.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen. You know it's going to happen. I can't believe you asked me that. You know that's going to happen. It's the same thing like we talked about in May. Aaron Judge was going to win the MVP.
Congratulations, Arson
We
Fudge.
knew it was going to happen. All right, Sunday night
football. The 6-3 Detroit Lions in the link taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. 2.5-point favorites at home are the Eagles.
I think the Lions go in there and win. I have not been impressed with the Eagles this year. They're just they're surviving. I'm taking the Lions.
I don't.
They're ready for the booze.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I take the Lions as well. The Eagles will have a positive pass rate over expectation for just the second time this season.
Nerd. Sell it.
Okay.
We have to talk about Monday Night Football because
yes,
I'm not on the show on Monday.
Yeah, you will not be here, so it's time to get to the 3-5-1 Dallas Cowboys taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. How in the world was this game not flexed? 3.5-point dogs at home are the Raiders.
Monday night games don't get flexed.
I would have made an exception here.
Dallas, easy.
Raiders wide receiver Trey Tucker will make a 40-plus yard reception.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, if it makes him feel better.
There's the win.
I texted my buddy. I texted my friend
better.
Ron last Thursday when the Raiders were playing the Broncos. And that was a big survivor pool. I didn't have the Broncos. Didn't have to worry about it. So you see an upset like that, you're kind of rooting for the upset. And they screwed it up like 1,500 times. I texted my buddy Ron. I'm like, how do you watch this team on a weekly basis? His response was, I try not to.
Don't. There's your key.
All right. Let's try to quickly get to the midday sports stand-up. You've had weeks to come up with a question.
I have.
Is Adam lurking in the chat, ready to judge your question?
It's going to be a football question. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
We're
how
going to
about
stick
that?
with the football
All
theme
right, let's get to our
this week.
contestant today.
Our contestant today is Kevin in Del Mar. Kevin, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Good, good. So today's question that has been sitting here for a week. Out of all active quarterbacks, who are the top 10 quarterbacks with the most wins in their career? So most career wins for all active quarterbacks, the top 10. Got it?
Yep.
All right. So you have the first guess.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is number 1 on that list.
Active quarterbacks with the most wins.
Active quarterbacks. They don't have to be a starter. They don't have to be on the IR. It's active
quarterbacks.
Active quarterbacks.
I'm going to outthink myself on that. Thanks for that. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you. Josh Allen. It has to be in the top 10 somewhere.
Josh Allen is number 7.
Right. He said Aaron Rodgers, right?
He said Aaron Rodgers. Yes.
Aaron.
Kevin.
Let's go with Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford is number 3 on that list. Braden.
Joe Flacco's got to be on there just for the amount of games he's played.
Joe Flacco is number 4.
Who was was Aaron Rodgers number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Kevin.
Oh, let's go with Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, number 2.
Patrick Mahomes. He has to be on there.
Patrick Mahomes, number 5. We're sweeping it. Kevin.
How many are left?
We have 4 left. We have 6, 8, 9, and 10 left.
Ooh. Let's go with, this is going to be a stretch, Jared Goff.
Not so much of a stretch. Number 6 on the list.
Okay. How many we have left?
We have 8, 9, and 10.
I feel like Kirk Cousins might be on there.
Kirk Cousins, number 8. So now 9 and 10. Kevin, if you get this right, you are definitely going to be qualified.
All right. There's 2 obvious ones I can go with. We'll go with Joe Burrow.
Not enough.
Joe Burrow is not there yet. Braden.
What about the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton? Wow, the Horned Frog.
Andy Dalton's number 9. Kevin, you could still tie, which in this case is a win.
Go Frogs.
I think I know. Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is the number 10. Kevin, congratulations. You are qualified for a trip to Vegas. Just hang on the line. I'll get your information during the break. So you guys cleared the board. Only one mistake.
See, you can even make a mistake and still win. How about that?
Exactly. See that?
Appreciate it. Let's get to Clay in the South Bay. You wanted to weigh in on something, right?
Let's do that.
Clay, what's going on? Sorry about your Browns, man.
Hey, hey, what can you say? They're we'll just say they're rebuilding for the youth of the team. Sounds like a good catchphrase.
That's
right?
You know what, Clay? I think you should be their PR person. I think that's a great catchphrase there, Clay.
But anyway, hey, just a few things. I mean, obviously Ohio State's going to play UCLA this weekend at the Horseshoe. I'm pretty sure Ohio State's going to remain undefeated. But man, SDSU's football, Boise State at the Snapdragon. Man, after last week's game, I don't know, Braden. I still hope the Aztecs pull it out, but man, I don't know. Oklahoma and Alabama, that's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, there's a lot of good college games coming up tomorrow. I will be at the TCU BYU game tomorrow night.
One thing on the ownership thing about the Waltons, you are aware, right, that John T. Walton actually lived here in National City. he raised his son Lucas. Him and his wife Christy raised their son Lucas here until he died in a horrible plane crash, one of those homemade things up in Wyoming.
No, that's
back
terrible.
in 2005.
But there's a local tie there for sure. Clay, appreciate the phone call. 1 o'clock hour. When we come back, we will get to Eddie Brown.
Biggest fan.
And the biggest fan while we track down Eddie Brown. 1 hour left. Sanger's #1 Sports Station, 97 for the Fan. It's that time of day again, Frank. What time is it?
Lunchtime.
Oh, you already guessed that.
I know it's not nap time. Biggest fan time?
You tried snack time, too.
I did try snack time, yes.
You're already on.
I needed a snack yesterday.
I thought we were
going to
continue this bit for the whole way, but you said biggest fan time, so you've kind of... You ruined the bit. Anyway.
I'll be better on Tuesday, I promise.
It's time for the biggest fan.
It is.
Listen, as we announce today's biggest fan, and today's biggest fan is Darlene Elbert in Lemon Grove. Darlene, you're today's biggest fan. You have 10 minutes to call in, and if you do, you will be qualified for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game with all of the fan staff. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Darlene Elbert in Lemon Grove. You have 10 minutes to try to call in and qualify for our biggest fan contest. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. So while she's doing that, we do need to call and track down Eddie Brown.
Didn't even let me do the drum roll this time, too. That was...
Well, you ruined the bid, so I don't have to tell you on that.
Ruined the bit, so you ruined the fun for everybody else. That's cool.
Just for you. All right, I have too many tabs open. I'm trying to find it. Eddie has gotten a new picture, by the way, on the UT website. So maybe next week you'll be able to find it. Well, Nate, if you didn't go to Cabo, maybe you get, qualified one time. One time, Anyway. All right, so we're tracking down Eddie Brown, and we are going to talk some fantasy football with Eddie. We usually have Eddie on Thursdays, but the thing is, we have had a lot of different news on Thursdays now, so we have moved Eddie to Friday the last 2 weeks, and hopefully we get him back on the Thursday spot. But Eddie, hopefully you're staying warm and dry as it's rainy this weekend in San Diego, and hopefully your Friday's going well. What's going on, man?
Yeah. We don't deal with a lot of these days here, so I'm fine dealing with a few of them. And I think my wife occasionally likes a nice, cozy, rainy day. So I think we're doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. This is the weather that you think about when it comes to fall and football. It's football weather, Eddie. That's what we love about this.
Yeah, it puts you in the spirits, right? Like, we've just started decorating for the holidays and stuff like that. It's like you said, it's fall. It's good to feel that way, Obviously, probably in a couple of weeks we'll be back into it in the 60s and 70s and nice sunny days. But it gives us an idea of what the holidays feel like.
Make yourself a nice little drink of your choice. Put the fire on. Put some NFL football on and follow your fantasy teams. And we're going to help you guys get your fantasy team set up right now with Eddie Brown. So Eddie, let's talk about some news. Joe Burrow might be coming back for the Cincinnati Bengals. You listed him as your top ad this week, even though he's still recovering from turf toe. You mentioned the Bengals could be out of the playoff race by the time he's ready. How aggressive should fantasy managers be with this stash? Is he a league winner or is he a wasted bench spot considering the circumstances following the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow?
Well, I think it depends on where you are, right? If you're kind of a borderline playoff team, and we're about a month out from the fantasy playoffs. So he'll be coming back if he comes back. Assuming the Bengals, this week's going to be a big deal because they got Pittsburgh, and that's a win they have to have. If they're able to beat the Steelers, then there's a good chance that they're still going to be in the playoff mix, and that Burrow, I imagine, will come back, and he's expected to come back by Thanksgiving, against Baltimore, which would be another huge AFC North divisional matchup. I think if you're in the playoff hunt, you got to stash him unless you're just completely set at the position. And if you're diabolical, even if I'm good and set in the position, I might pick him up if I have a spot just to keep somebody else in my league from picking him up. So he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in fantasy. When he's on, I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL when he's going. I'm not throwing any shade at Mahomes or Allen or Lamar or those guys. I just think when he's like spot on, he's about as precise as it gets. He very reminds me a lot of Joe Montana. I grew up watching Joe Montana, like the way he just kind of surgical down the field and can kind of move in the pocket. He's not necessarily going to kill you with his legs, but man, and you pair him with, Jamar and T. Higgins and those guys, and that offense is pretty special to watch. It's kind of, it's not cool for, I'm sure, Bengal fans because their defense has been historically bad the last 2 years. But if they could ever give him just a mediocre defense, I think the Bengals will have a good shot.
Luther Burden stepped right in for DJ Moore and popped for 51 yards on just 3 catches. You said he doesn't need much volume to make an impact. If Moore sits, is Burden a plug-and-play flex or more of a boom or bust option?
I think he's always going to be boom or bust just because the diversity that, I think that they're trying to build on offense in Chicago. Kind of they're trying to mimic what, they did in Detroit. But like I said, even if he's on there, even if he's on the field for 12 snaps, there's a chance. And if you're in a deeper league, he's somebody that has flex appeal, in the right matchup. I think Moore is coming back. I think Moore is going to be fine this week. So I'd fade him unless you're desperate. But he, like I said, all he needs is one touch to take it to the house. He's that type of guy. And I think he's somebody, if you're in dynasty leagues, I think he's somebody that you stash with great upside going forward for next year and the season after that.
We talked about Trey Benson last week, and you wrote that Trey Benson could return this week, but might be another week or two. With Bam Knight hurt and Amari DiMercato flashing, how should fantasy managers handle this Arizona backfield? Is Benson still a priority hold? And I got him on my IR right now, and I do have Amari DiMercato. So, how do you address the running back situation for the Cardinals?
I still think he is, especially with Kyler Murray going to be out. I think once he gets back, he's going to get the lion's share of the touches there. I think he's going to, they're Cardinals are a pretty decent team. They just can't close. And so I think there's some upside for him. They're going to want to see what they have in him going forward. So, because they invested some pretty decent draft capital when they selected him. I think this week though, DiMercato is the one in the backfield that has the most upside. He'll probably be getting mixed in with Michael Carter, I assume. But as far as the pass game, as far as just the upside in the run game, I think he's the one that has the upside, especially against a Niners defense that's just absolutely decimated by injuries. So I think there's a chance that those two teams put up some points, and there's some flex appeal definitely in the backfield.
We're talking with Eddie Brown, who writes for the San Diego Union Tribune, giving you everything you need to know about the fantasy season, fantasy weekend, if you will. Let's talk about Alec Pierce. He's had kind of a little bit of a breakout, has at least 67 yards in 6 of 7, and is leading the NFL in receiving yards since week 7. You've loved them against single high coverage. With Indianapolis on a bye, is he still a mustache? And how long is his ceiling the rest of the way? How high is his ceiling the rest of the way?
Yeah, no, I think you do stash him. I think if you picked him up the last couple of weeks and you took advantage of the matchups because the Steelers and the Falcons both played single high, I think they were the top 2 of the top 3 teams in the NFL as far as deploying single high coverage, and he feasted. So the good news is that going forward, I think there's only one defense on the Colts schedule that's playing below 50% of their snaps at single high, and that's Seattle. So there's a long runway for his upside going forward. Also, that offense I know Jones has kind of been a mixed bag the last couple weeks, but when that offense is turning, when everybody obviously is going to be focusing on Jonathan Taylor, and that a guy like Pierce can feast in situations like that because it opens up play action in a big way, and he's just a demon downfield. So I think you stash him. I think the upside's there. I think he probably has wide receiver 3 flex appeal every week. And I think there's certain defenses that when he matches up against, he can go off in a really big way.
Let's talk about some receivers and some sleepers this weekend. You've highlighted several intriguing wide receiver sleepers. Trey Tucker, now the Raiders' #1 receiver. Tez Johnson thriving without Mike Evans. Calvin Austin getting steady targets. And Adonai Mitchell joining Justin Fields in New York. Which of these guys has the best chance to stay fantasy relevant through the playoffs?
I think Trey Tucker. I think we already saw his upside earlier this year when he went off, scored 3 touchdowns. Then he kind of faded away, but actually the Raiders kind of faded away after that. I know Tyler Lockett kind of took his shine a little bit in his first game without Jacoby Myers, but yeah, Tucker's the number one guy there. They have a bunch of young receivers. I know Lockett has a rapport with Geno Smith. But when it comes down to it, I think week in and week out, I think that was more about the matchup against the Broncos than it was about the structure of the Raiders offense. I think the pass game is still going to go through Brock Bowers, number one, and then it's going to go to Trey Tucker. So I think he has the biggest upside. I think the most intriguing guy going forward is Mitchell. I mean, I was actually surprised I think he got about a half dozen targets last night. He only had 1 catch, but he had 1 deep ball where he beat Gonzalez pretty good, just couldn't come down with it. The thing is that Justin Fields has shown that he can do 2 things in the NFL. He can make explosive run plays. He can make plays with his legs, and he can throw the ball deep. He actually has he actually has a higher completion percentage on deep passes, 20+ air yards, than his actual overall completion rate. Which is surprising. And considering that I think the league average is somewhere in the 40 to 45%, he's completing 64% of his deep passes. So there's an obvious connection there that if they're going to keep Fields under center going forward, and really at this point, why not? I mean, if you're losing, and it's just setting you up for the draft. Then why not try to work on that connection, because you got him in the trade for Sauce. So let's see what you have here, especially with Garrett Wilson out. And going forward, I think Fields actually has one of the better schedules left as far as quarterbacks are concerned. And I think Mitchell has some pretty good matchups as far as wide receivers. So I think he has the biggest upside, but who knows with the Jets? It's kind of a mess there.
We always talk about it, Eddie. We talk about all the pickups. We never talk about drops too much. So you got some drop section, and you got a drop section in your weekly article. And this week, a little spicy. Kyler Murray, Rachaad White, Cooper Kupp, Ramondre Stevenson, TJ Hawkinson. Of those big names, which cut is actually the hardest for fantasy players to swallow, but is absolutely the right move?
I think it might be Rachaad White, just because I actually like his matchup this week. I actually like him going to Buffalo. I think obviously the Buccaneers are a good team, and they need a win. And the run game against Buffalo is something that the Bills have been struggling with for a long time. That said, the reason he's on my drop list is because he hasn't proven very efficient as a runner. So Sean Tucker is starting to cut into his touches in the backfield, and I imagine Bucky Irvin's not that far away from returning. So it's one of those times where you have to start making tough decisions in the fantasy season. And to me, I think he's droppable. This week, though, I think he actually has a good chance at, 15 touches, maybe 5 catches, and probably finds the end zone. So if you want to hold off a week to do that, I get it. But I think going forward, it's going to be the right call, because eventually Sean Tucker is just going to he's basically made it a 50-50 split already. And the Buccaneers are going to be probably throwing the ball a lot going forward.
Eddie, fortune favors the bold. You got to make some bold decisions. You want to win your fantasy league. These are some bold moves that you could potentially make. Thanks again for joining us, and stay dry this weekend.
I appreciate it, Brandon. Take care.
Eddie Brown from the Santa Union Tribune joins us each and every Thursday, on again today, Friday, to get you set up for fantasy football. When we come back, we'll talk college and high school football as we have very important games throughout the county tonight, and we're going to make our picks with Skylar, without Skylar. She ain't here. But you know what? We're going to make the picks anyway. She's going to send in her picks. We'll get to that when we come back as well. And the final hour of the Braden Surprenant Show, Stagner's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. $120 on a Friday. Getting ready for some high school and college football. We're going to talk about that right now as we need to get to our college football picks for the weekend. I have 9 games on there. I got to find one more game as we start these games lining up, Frank. So let's get to it.
Let's do just that.
You know what? I'll put, since I'm picking my game and Skylar's picking her game,
put the Penn State.
We're putting the land grant trophy on there.
Cool. Wonderful.
Unrivaled Penn State, by the way.
Yeah, well.
What plays for a land grant trophy?
Boy, are they ever.
Are they going to get their first conference win?
They're just on whatever.
It's Fat Man Friday, dude.
Coming up tonight. We're doing that. We're really doing that in the midst of a 3-6 season.
Hey, you know what? My boys that are Penn State fans are like, it's always Fat Man Friday, and it's still Penn State football, man. You got to snap out of it, dog.
For me, it's recovering Fat Man Friday.
That game's the CBS game, by the way. All right, go ahead and start off.
Flexerino. Friday tonight, Clemson. The Clemson Tigers taking on number 20 Louisville at 7-2. Cardinals are 1.5-point favorites at home.
I'll take Louisville. They're not losing to Clemson. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I think Louisville's going to win that game. As much as I think the ACC will implode on itself, I'll take Louisville. You still weighing out your pick here?
No, I had to get a pen. I will take Louisville as well. So Skylar, please don't take Louisville.
I hope she does.
She took every single one of my picks last week.
It's hilarious. Well, you can't pass her if that's the case. That's a good strategy on her part. Great strategy on Skylar's part. Maybe she's listening right now, just waiting for all your picks.
Saturday, 7-2, number 9 Notre Dame taking on number 22, 7-2 Pitt. Notre Dame is a 12.5-point favorite.
I will take Pitt to cover. They don't win, though. I think that's going to be a scary game for Notre Dame. I think Pitt loses by a touchdown.
I agree with you. So I will take Pitt as well. The number 24 South Florida Bulls at 7-2, taking on 7-2 Navy, which will be on 97.3 The Fan tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. 10.5-point favorites are USF.
Oh, that's a big spread. Navy can slow the pace down a little bit. I'm going to take Navy to cover, but I think South Florida wins.
You're going to take Louisville. You're going to take Navy. I am going to take.
Be careful. You got invited to their game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm going to have to go Navy as well. I don't see them winning, but I also don't see them losing by 10.5. The Penn State Nittany Lions at 3-6.
Land grant trophy.
Taking on the Michigan State Spartans, who are also 3-6.
Land grant trophy.
Penn State somehow, some way favored by 7.5 points. Michigan State also dealing with the fallout from their penalties this week.
How about that? I'll take Penn State to win their first game. Their first game in conference play.
I can't trust it. I'm taking Michigan State, and I'm not taking Michigan State to win. I'm taking them to cover, but I can't trust it. I cannot trust Penn State to win, especially by that much. The 7-2, number 11 Oklahoma Sooners taking on the 8-1, number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide. Tide favored by 6.5. Once again, I'll just pen Skylar's pick here.
Roll Tide. They're going to win. This is the beginning of the end for Oklahoma based on their schedule. I will take Alabama at home, minus 6.5.
I will as well. The only one we've picked apart is the last one. I can't even say that you're taking my picks because you're the one picking before me.
That's right.
Up next, the number 21, 6-3 Iowa Hawkeyes at the number 17, 7-2 USC Trojans. Trojans favored by 6.5.
Iowa finally gets to go to the Coliseum in L.A. as part of this Big Ten deal, and they get to bring their weather with them.
Oops.
I still got SC. Iowa's not very good. I'll take USC.
You know what? I'm going to take Iowa because Iowa, every time we've said that Iowa is not good enough, they've played a close game. Whether or not it's a win or a loss doesn't really matter. I think Iowa's going to play another close Iowa game. The 7-2, number 13 Utah Utes, 9.5 favorites in Texas, taking on the Baylor Bears, who are 5-4.
I will take Utah. I'll take Utah. It's a big spread, but I'll take Utah. How about Baylor's AD has to step down for the College Football Playoff Committee as the head chair for some type of situation that I don't really know what's going on, and Utah's AD is taking over.
Love it. You'll love to see that. You just love to see
Texas
that.
and Georgia. Georgia's favored by 6.5.
Can I make my pick, please?
We got to pick up the pace here.
Utah. I'm taking Utah. Number 10, Texas.
You just picked all my picks anyway.
Shut up, man.
Just go with that. For a guy that likes to bitch about people taking his picks.
You know what? Fine. You've peer pressured me into it. I'm taking Baylor.
Nate Taylor's called you Frank Luke Voigt casings.
I'm taking.
Showing off too much chest moss, dude.
I don't have
in your pajama shirt.
I don't have a button on here. Otherwise, I would have. That button's been long gone. The number 10 Texas Longhorns taking on the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs. Bulldogs favored 6.5.
I'm taking Georgia big.
I will take.
Texas
I'll take Georgia as well. TCU taking on number 12 BYU. You will be at the game. Cougs favored by 3.5.
I'll take the Cougs by 7 at least. There's no way TCU makes that game even close. And here's the deal. If they do, I'm going to be more mad at Sonny Dykes for choking against Iowa State.
Because I won't have to hear it until Tuesday. I'll take TCU.
Nice. You know what? If TCU wins, though, then I'm going to be excited about it. But
yeah, I mean, I don't have to hear your complaining that they won.
Here's what's going to happen. BYU's going to win by 1, so I'm going to lose, and I'm going to lose. That's what the situation is. I'll be there eating a cougar tail, drinking coffee.
Finally,
freezing my you-know-what off.
Last game, Boise State at San Diego State. Aztecs favored by 1.5 tomorrow night on the big network, CBS.
I'm taking the Tex. Wow, what a great schedule for the CBS games. Penn State, Michigan State's the CBS game. Jeez. I'm taking the Aztecs.
I am taking Boise State. It is going to be a torrential downpour tomorrow.
Sounds like it suits the team that can run the ball.
Even with that, it's going to be awful field conditions. But you know what else it favors? It favors a team that lives in those conditions, which is what Boise State does. I understand they play on the Smurf turf, but I'm taking Boise State. They're going to be more acclimated to the conditions than San Diego State.
All right. Well, there you go. They have it. High school football this weekend. Open division semifinals are tonight. Everybody is highly ranked in the state. In fact, everybody in the open division in San Diego is ranked in the top 15 in the state of California, which is great to see. Cathedral's the 4th seed. They're at Mission Hills tonight. I will be up there. 8-2 Cathedral, 9-1 Mission Hills. Don's rolling as Western League champions, powered by Cal bound quarterback Brady Palmer, put up 1,656 yards and 16 touchdowns in just 7 games. Honor Falave Johnson has been legit all year. He's got over 1,200 combined yards and 18 total touchdowns. Willie Flores on the ground attack. Isaac Cook with 833 receiving yards and 7 scores. Dons have a lot of ways to potentially score. Mission Hills has Troy Hune spreading the ball out to Mizell Quackenbush, Braden Roberson, who's a sophomore, Josh Gonzalez, and Perrin Blankenship. They got a lot of weapons on offense as well. 2 state top 15 teams with one common opponent. They both beat Granite Hills. They both beat them by 10 points. Expect a grind-out brawl of a game in San Marcos. Not a brawl of a fight, but a brawl of a game. Carlsbad at LCC is the other semifinal game. All these 2 teams are also ranked in the top 15 in the state of California. Carlsbad 9-1 on the year. LCC 9-1 on the year. Carlsbad's only loss to La Costa Canyon. The Avocado West rivals meet again after LCC won the first meeting 50-22. Carlsbad rolls with Cornell bound quarterback Eli McNeil, the son of the head coach Thad McNeil. He's got 1,737 yards and 28 touchdowns, throwing to Travis Jeffrey and Ethan Meyerhoff, while Kai Brown brings 753 yards on the ground. On defense, Austin Cranford headlines the unit with 25 sacks. La Costa Canyon features Quinn Roth, 2,007 yards, 27 touchdowns, and the all-everything playmaker Kobe Herman. He left the game early against Torrey Pines, but I would expect him to play tonight for La Costa Canyon. He has nearly 1,900 total yards and 23 touchdowns. Kobe Herman does. The guy is a phenomenal running back in town. Defensively, it's Ryan Scully. It's Ford Mitchell leading the charge. A couple of guys that have been in this game before as they played in the open semifinals last year. Division I, Poway is at Lincoln. The 5-6 Titans taking on the 8-2 Hornets. Poway beat Torrey Pines last week behind Norris Schubach and 1,500-yard rusher Luke Jorgensen. Lincoln obviously is loaded. They believe they should have been in the open division. I believe they should have been in the open division. They got 2 quarterbacks in Jordan Roa and Kenan Mana. They have nearly 2,000 yards and 26 touchdowns combined. And the running back duo of Rashad Robinson and Junior Curtis has another 1,800 yards and 26 touchdowns combined. Add-in receiver Courtney Miller-Thompson. He headlines a deep skill group defensively. Prince Tavion, who's going to Oregon, leads the Hornets unit with 21 sacks and 10 picks. I like Lincoln in this game against Poway. Point Loma at San Marcos should be a slugfest. Point Loma unbeaten, coming off a 41-7 win over Mater Dei Catholic. San Marcos counters with superstar Zamar Reese, who has over 2,200 all-purpose yards. They're the 4-5 matchup up at San Marcos High School. Oceanside will travel out to East County to take on Mount Miguel. Mount Miguel 7-3, Oceanside 7-4. This is a rematch of a game earlier this season. Oceanside got all their players back, at least the ones that transferred in. They became eligible the week they played Mount Miguel, and they beat Mount Miguel earlier this year 26-25. Anthony Barcanero is up to 1,898 yards for the quarterback for Oceanside with 18 touchdowns defensively. Easy Tokyo is a tone setter. For Mount Miguel, it's their quarterback, Jeremiah Loper, who brings 2,094 yards and 22 touchdowns. And the Mount Miguel Matadors and Oceanside Pirates should be a fun one out in East County. Rancho Bernardo is going out to East County as well. They're going to take on Granite Hills. We'll see what Gage Weddle has in store. He is Rancho Bernardo's quarterback safety, two-way player. Might be one of the most dynamic all-around weapons in the D1 playoffs. He has 2,730 total yards. Granite Hills counters with Zach Benitez at quarterback with nearly 3,000 yards passing and 30 touchdowns. Granite's got a lot of weapons in the receiving core and in the backfield. I expect Granite Hills to probably have a pretty big day against Rancho Bernardo. Division II, it's Santa Fe Christian hosting St. Augustine, the 1-8 matchup. Saints led by their two-way star, Pi Palomalo. He is the son of Troy Palomalo. Santa Fe Christian rolls behind Dax Labrum, who has 2,168 yards and 25 scores. So you have Troy Palomalo's son and Troy, who's part of the Saints coaching staff, going against Drew Brees, who's the offensive coordinator at Santa Fe Christian, and his son, who plays receiver at SFC. So that's kind of a fun NFL matchup between St. Augustine and Santa Fe Christian. Scripps Ranch, who upset La Jolla 42-0, is the 12 seed. Will go play El Camino, who's 1-9, but has played a very difficult schedule. They got the 4 seed and a first-round bye. Scripps Ranch coming off of that win, as mentioned. El Camino looking to snap a 6-game losing streak. San Diego High, after winning in the desert, will take on Mission Bay. San Diego High leans on Jaden Harris. Mission Bay's Trey Arnold, who has been a really good star at quarterback this season and has put up some video game numbers, 3,090 yards and 45 touchdowns for the quarterback for Mission Bay. Trey Arnold's had a great year. Big reason why I think Mission Bay will have a good time in the game tonight. Helix plays Steel Canyon. That is a rematch from a couple of weeks ago. Helix beat both San Pasqual last week and Steel Canyon the last 2 weeks, and Steel Canyon quarterback Gavin Kaha has nearly 1,900 yards and 19 touchdowns. Division 3, it's Bishops at Central. They're going to make the long drive out to Central Union High School. Madison has a rematch with University City in the 5-4 matchup. Christian will go on and take on Ramona, who got a first-round bye, and Patrick Henry, after upsetting Frank's Olympian Eagles, are going to go up to Army-Navy Academy and take on Army-Navy. Judah Bogard leads the unit, riding a 3-game win streak, the quarterback for Army-Navy. In Division 4, it's Hilltop at Westview. It's Eastlake at Mount Carmel. It's Mira Mesa at Valley Center. It's La Jolla Country Day at El Cap. And in Division 5, Hoover at Sweetwater, Chula Vista at Canyon Hills, Fallbrook at Monta Vista, Santana at Morse. Division 5 AA semifinals, Claremont, after winning their first playoff game in nearly 20 years, are going to go take on the Maranatha Christian, who has won 10 straight games. Claremont running back Tyler Allen led the way last week. They're going to have to rely on him tonight against Maranatha. Shout out to my boy Eli, one of the coaches over there at Claremont. Should be a good one in the Division 5 AA semifinals. Mountain Empire, Palo Verde Valley will be the final game of the Division 5 AA semifinals, and that's a look at everything you need to know in high school football. When we come back, an MLS report. Drake Hills will join us on the Braden Surprenant Show to finish up the work week on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 to the Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime. Since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. It's that time of the week for Drake Hills to join us on the Braden Surprenant Show. He joins us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline to give us a soccer 101, but also a little college soccer 101, and Oregon Ducks are in action tonight against Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. Drake, what do we got? What do we got on the Ducks tonight against the Golden Gophers at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, speaking of, I'll be at the game. So greetings from beautiful Huge. The leaves are brown and red and orange. No rain in the forecast for tonight. I'm liking a good confidence building win for us. I mean, the Iowa game was a little bit kind of grew extra gray hairs from watching that game, typical Big Ten action. But I'm thinking Dante Moore kind of has his nice 7-on-7 experience, throws a couple of teddies, and on to the next one, man.
We're going to talk with Drake about the MLS, obviously. And there's a lot of things to unpack with the MLS, a lot of news with the MLS. But let's talk about some other soccer before we get to Major League Soccer and San Diego FC. First of all, Juan Ruiz in the chat wants to ask you your thoughts on the World Cup qualifiers.
Well, first of all, I think this is going to be a historical feat, and I love this like once-in-a-generation type experience where, yes, the U.S., Mexico, and Canada automatically qualify because they are hosts of the 2026 FIFA World Cup next summer. And so that bodes well for nations like Suriname and Curacao and Honduras, who are trying to get back to their World Cup quality. So, like, these nations that are maybe, one World Cup in their entire history or have never been to the World Cup. Like, I love to see that. And, Jamaica is another team that they haven't been to a World Cup since 98. Obviously with Hurricane Melissa and everything that's going on, that's another story to follow as well. So it's good soccer. Trinidad has been playing well. So as I mentioned, Suriname, like there's so many stories. Like that's what, like it's CONCACAF crazy, man. I'm addicted to it. I love it.
Also, the other thing, and we've talked a lot of college soccer together, but it's a big weekend this weekend for local college soccer for USD, Drake. You have a battle for the top of the West Coast Conference. USD's got Oregon State on a road, a place that not a lot of road teams have been able to leave there with the win. USD needs a win to win the West Coast Conference, and they don't have to worry about anything else. But it's USD, it's Oregon State, and it's Portland at the top of the table in the WCC with Selection Monday on Monday. What do you got for us on the college soccer side of things locally?
Yeah, the Beavers, they're unbeaten in West Coast Conference play. They're 10-3-2 on the year. USD at 12-2-3. And it's interesting, when you think about San Diego, the two losses overall, early on in the season, you have that struggle with Duke, and then later on you have a very, very active, busy first half against Portland at Portland, and you unfortunately dropped that one. Those are your only two losses, and those are two of the best 25 teams in the country, if dare I say, like 15 or top 10. So you're exactly right, Braden. Like, this is a team in Oregon State that they can control their own destiny in terms of having the top spot in the West Coast Conference. But San Diego, I mean, it best. Like, not only are they scoring goals, but even when they don't score in pairs and in trios as they have done from October onward, they have conceded one or less goals pretty much the entire season since the start of October. So it's interesting to see because you have the best offense in Oregon State against arguably the best defense in USD. So tomorrow it should be exciting because I think whoever is going to win this game, and especially if San Diego wins, you're definitely guaranteed a top 9 seed, and therefore the Toreros will be hosting in the NCAA tournament.
We're talking with Drake Hills, who is a contributing writer for Black Players for Change, as well as ESPN.com. He gives us the Soccer 101 each and every Friday. We're going to talk about the MLS playoffs in a second, but the MLS announced a lot of news announcements this week. changing their TV deal for 2026. You're not going to need a subscription on top of a subscription, which is great for fans. But also, the schedule is getting changed a little bit. They're going to try to line things up a little bit more with the rest of the world in terms of their schedule. What are your thoughts on the new schedule for MLS? For anybody that missed it, how would you explain the way that this is going to partake for the MLS?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So first things first, this whole schedule is going to basically go from July through May. And what's going to happen is they're going to have an extended winter break from about mid-December till after Super Bowl Sunday. And it's been very clear, made reports from The Athletic and ESPN, that those at the MLS owners meetings and at the governance level were very clear and adamant that they do not want any part in conflicts with the NFL postseason, especially from a visibility standpoint, the Super Bowl. So you're essentially going to have a hard and fast marathon from basically mid-February to MLS Cup playoffs taking place throughout the month of May. So the regular season will be over in April, and then the entire month of May, you will have postseason play. Now, just to kind of connect and kind of make sense, because I was thinking to myself, like, how are you going to connect this whole thing at the start of 2027? That's when this summer to spring change will take place. But what's going to happen is that the 2026 after the World Cup, they're going to have this kind of hard and fast sprint where they're going to have about 14 consecutive games from, I guess, the winter into the spring, so they can kind of connect the two in through May. So like mid-February through May in 2027, that's when this whole schedule thing is going to flip. Now, there are really two halves, Braden. There are the northern franchises, so you're talking Minnesota United, Chicago Fire, you're talking even to a certain extent like St. Louis SC, obviously NYCFC, New York Red Bulls, versus the Dallases, the Houstons, the Atlanta Uniteds, the Charlottes, the Orlando Cities, Miamis. They love this calendar flip because the latter thinks this is going to be great for those games where it's like, it's 105 with 80-degree humidity at 7:30 at night. We're kind of steering clear from that. But alternatively, on the front end of the season, you had the Minnesotas who were like, hey, this is going to be tough for us to take away those summer games that we can leverage. And then we're now putting those games in mid to late February. That's not going to be good for our fans as well. So there's going to be a change, certainly, in terms of how franchises are luring in fans to go to games when, if you're a northern franchise, you're going to be playing in severe cold. But I think it's a little more advantageous for them if you're asking me my opinion. But overall, this is going to be incredible for connecting with the rest of the leagues throughout the world. I think you're going to get a chance to see fans see a better quality of product on the field as well. So it's going to be exciting. And I think on the back end of the World Cup, that's the perfect time to make this move.
I think it's going to be fun for Drake. I think it's going to be great to see, the MLS in this particular time. And, it's the best for San Diego, who doesn't have an NFL team, a big winter sport. I mean, yeah, we have Aztec basketball, which is great, but, MLS doesn't have to compete with MLB in the middle of the season. Now, let's talk about this local team in town. San Diego FC advanced to the conference semifinals after what you said was going to be, when we talked off air, San Diego was going to take care of business against Portland. They did. It was BTS, if you know what I mean, for San Diego FC against Portland. And what did you see in that game that's going to lead to hopefully a good performance against Minnesota?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of BTS from the 5th minute onwards, and Anders Dreyer opening the score sheet for them. Just Google BTS Patrick Beverley, and you'll find out what we're talking about. But hey, I think overall this is going to be a tale of two different rounds. And when I'm saying Portland and Minnesota are the two different opponents, they play a whole different kind of soccer. I think Portland was a little more akin to San Diego in the sense of a little more technical as opposed to Minnesota. They got Michael Boxall. They've got Dane St. Clair between the sticks, an incredible stout and stubborn team up the spine. So you're talking goalkeepers to their center backs to their central midfielders all the way up. And you saw what Minnesota was able to do in terms of kind of redeeming themselves and even winning ugly against Seattle in round one. But here's another thing that I'm a little concerned about. You always have to think about this when you have a team that has such great momentum, is this international break. You have the men's national team is playing Paraguay this weekend, and then, of course, they'll follow that up with another game the beginning of next week. The reality is that, when you're winning and you have such an emphatic and dominant performance as San Diego FC did over Portland in Game 3, you want to hurry up and recap that and get back on the field and do it again in, let's say, 5 days' time. So the unfortunate part of this is, you're thinking about from last Saturday, you have to wait a couple of weeks to play again. I'm curious, what is that going to mean for Chico Lozano? We saw him in games 2 and 3. Game 3, he obviously had the best impact. He's able to be involved in the scoring and in attacking with this team. Is he going to be back into the team? What's that situation? Is this a situation where we might see CJ Dos Santos come back? Is he going to be out? So I think there's a lot of questions in terms of personnel, but also just overall form. And Anders Dreyer has been an incredible performer. I would like to see him win the MLS MVP, but even if he doesn't, he's going to be pivotal for this team to move forward, especially with LAFC and Vancouver on the other end of the bracket.
Trey, we appreciate the time. Sounds like we're going to get more weather down here than you're going to have in Eugene. Enjoy the time at the game. Both of us are going to go watch our alma maters play football this weekend. I'm flying out to Provo tomorrow. We'll see how that game goes. I don't think it's going to be as good as the game between, or at least in favor of us, as Oregon tonight. But it should be a fun time watching football. We'll talk to you again next week as we get closer to the MLS playoffs resuming.
All right. Thanks, Braden. I'll sign off from sunny Eugene.
Sunny Eugene and rainy San Diego. Some phrases we didn't think would be discussed on the Braden Surprenant Show. Big thanks to Drake Hills for joining us today as he's getting ready to watch Oregon play Minnesota, the Oregon Ducks, the Quackers.
I wasn't going to be the one to say it this time.
I said it after Drake left.
No Ben Affleck either.
I know.
Lost last night. What was it, 6-3?
Yeah, I was talking about BTA. That was what that was last night. Now, you know what? Ducks, they were going to go undefeated the whole year. So 2 tough losses in a row. We'll see how they do, and they bounce back. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. It's been the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing over on Sports Station 97 to the Fan. I will see you Tuesday. Sam Levitt will fill in on Monday.